Will you be there for me? Will you be there for me? Baby, sir. Who's waiting for that call? Who's waiting for that call?
Another man, say you know me again. The kind of way where I feel that day, me I never feel talking again. I'm okay, no go do it like this, so I know your friend don't like my beat, but you for don't say this kind of thing, baby. Just let me know, you know what I do again. I don't go disturb you, I don't go stress you. Just let me know, you know what I do again. I don't go disturb you, I don't go stress you, but don't call me back.
Malians! Come forward, the red!
If tomorrow come, you know they my side.
up to me?
Say now your cruise I like. Show me that you're miracle tonight. Take me higher, I wanna feel alright. If I don't want you, baby go say you don't want you. And I don't want to be bothered, but I want to be champion. If I don't want you, baby go say you don't want you. Me, I don't want to be bothered, but I want to be champion. And then you see the man.
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
Oh my God, it's not horrible.
Is it what?
It's not horrible.
Oh, as in that sense.
Let me fix that lighting.
All right, we're live. What's going on, everybody? What's up?
To the side. Not a way.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
All right.
Put it more evenly.
I'm gonna move, so it doesn't matter. What's going on, everyone? Hallelujah. What's going on? Let's talk about it.
Like that.
Let's move this over here.
Let me hide a little.
What's going on? How's your weekends? Another weekend here. Just let me know if you can hear me. That would be nice.
On Facebook. Let me hide a little.
All right. Looks like we're live. Everywhere. We're everywhere. What's going on? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Only see Ola's forehead.
Yes, that's good.
Dilly to back by it here. That's Dilly. What's up, Dilly?
Focus
What's going on,
Ola's
man?
forehead.
Say hello to Dilly.
I'm hiding. Hi, Dele. I'm hiding my head. Okay. On Instagram.
Let's have this fun. Let's talk about attraction. We're going to talk about attraction today.
What's up, guys?
Let's see. We're talking about the heart of attraction. All right, but before we dive too deep into that, we're going to do a review the two shows that we're watching on TV right now. That's about marriage. So the first show we're going to review is, let's get into it. Let's talk about Marriage Boot Camp. Marriage Boot Camp on VH1 is the show that we've been watching. So what is this, like the 6th episode, something like that we're reviewing right now? So we got a couple of clips that we will review. And then what I'll do is I'll play the video. Yeah, I got a couple of clips.
Oh.
Yeah. And we'll review it. I want to know what you think about it. We'll talk about what we think about, what we review, what we remember about the episode. And then we'll take it from there.
Okay. Are you a little tired today?
I'm trying to keep it calm.
Yeah, I'm not projecting, baby. My voice is louder than yours.
Part this organ. Yeah.
What?
But they can hear me.
Excuse me.
All right. So yes, he was in the house. So Dilly, thank you, Dilly, for stopping by. We had Ruth, Becca, we had Sean, Lola, we have Puri, Francesca, we had Jimmy. All right. So quite a few people dropped in and out, so that's fine. We're going to be hanging out and just talking about this topic of heart of attraction. Right. Well, first of all, let's review some of this. So let's play this first clip.
How many clips do you have?
I got 2 from one show and probably 5. They're short clips, like 16 seconds.
Good.
You okay? Vado lost it. He put his hands on me. That's not like him.
Yeah.
You're breaking my heart right now because the way you're taking it tells me that this happened a lot.
Definitely times. And let me just clarify this. Vado's never beat me.
All right, so let's talk about that real quickly. So that was a clip that we played. If you want to see the whole show, you can go to that. I already clipped the link on the screen. www.lolaola.com/live, and you should see one of the videos says live at the very top. You click on it. All right. So let me play it one more time. I want to know your thoughts. Okay. There are 3 clips in one that I just put in there. So pay attention to. One of them is basically Tahiri.
Disclaiming and claiming. I'm even confused.
My
at
question
this point.
is she lying? The other clip is Dr. Ish saying it looks like you're lying or something. Let's play it again.
You okay? Vado lost it. He put his hands on me. That's not like him. Yeah.
You're breaking my heart right now because the way you're taking it tells me that this happened a lot.
Definitely times. And let me just clarify this. Vado's never beat me.
Says he's never put his hands on her. So what? My question for you. So we're talking about Tahiri and Vado. These are the 2. I don't know if I should call them cast on the show.
And they're together.
And they're supposed to be together. A lot of people are claiming that they're not together as well. But at least that's what they present to the public, that they're together. And this issues happen in real life with a lot of people, so it doesn't matter if they're acting or not. So last week we reviewed a clip show that was released of him lunging at her and attempting to choke her.
He was choking her. No attempting.
Okay, was choking her.
Hands was on the neck.
All right, so watch this moment right now. Okay, this moment is very important. Okay, so was choking her. That's what you say.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So but now it looks like she's defending him.
It's natural.
As a lot of women do for their man, that they will try to protect that man.
Yes.
They'll try to protect him as far as it goes. But at some point they're gonna give up. That's just what it happens. The second clip is her admitting that it's happened a few times. Now, what has happened a few times? Her being in a
chokehold.
In a choke. She mentioned her nose was broken once upon a time too.
Yeah, but she didn't say it was Vado that broke her nose.
Right. So is it her being in that kind of situation or in that situation with Vado? Because on the next clip over, she said, let me be clear. In the confessional, Vado has never put his hands on me. All right. So what do you think?
Well, I think for me, I'm going to go to the scene where he launched at her and started choking her. The look on Tahiri's face was not a shocking look. It was more of a look like, oh, here you go, making a fool of us out in public. But it looks like it has happened a few times, okay? She didn't seem shocked. The other people felt shocked for her, at least the women. And when Dr. Ish asked, looks like it has happened a few times, she admitted that it has happened a few times.
Even though what has happened a few times? So my question for you now is what has happened?
The violence.
Is it violence or violence with Vado in particular?
They didn't clarify that, but
Okay,
violence had happened. And I will assume that Dr. Ish was talking about our relationship right now with Vado. That's what I would assume, but I might be wrong.
But she's denying that.
And I'm okay after the fact, she now came and denied that he has never done that. Now, to me, that does not seem strange because most women, when they're being beaten, kicked, they will give excuses that they fell on their face or they broke their nose, they fell on the chair.
Why is that? Why is it that?
Because women...
Because he asked her too, do you want us to call the cops? And, let me just make sure that this thing doesn't go back like that again. Sorry about that. So why is that?
I think it's very normal for a woman to want to protect what she got.
Because they asked her if she wanted to press charge and she said no.
They usually don't press charges. I mean, there's a consistency with women that are being battered or, let me say, damaged women. Because damaged women don't mean that they are the ones being beaten all the time. They also are in a relationship where they are being violent themselves.
Right.
They're
Which
both
is,
beating each other, which is the same, which is the scenario of Vado and Tahiri.
So let's just clear that up right now, because a couple of people came on and said, no, they were both wrong, blah, blah, blah.
And I agree that they are both wrong, but we have to learn to separate the issues. Now, when it comes to Vado, I keep calling that guy a weak guy because he allowed himself to be in a relationship where he's being thrown, like a woman is throwing stuff at you, she's beating you. You allowed her to do that to you. And
so
the way you can stop that is not by putting hands on her,
right.
It's by removing yourself from that situation. But I do understand that there are attachments that people get used to, and it's not easy to pick up and leave. But at some point, you have to remove yourself, or that relationship, you will end up, it's either you go to jail, someone's going to end up dead, and at the end of the day, it's just going to be horrible for everybody in the relationship.
Right. Or worse, you're teaching your kids that this kind of behavior
is okay.
Is okay. By the way, that's the worst, because now you have generational
toxic
that's happening
relationships.
Now. Yeah.
Yes.
The worst is not that you go to jail. You go to jail, you come back, you go to boot camp, you'll be fine. Worst case scenario in that situation is you leave that person, you get with another person. You now know how to behave as a man or a woman in a relationship. The worst is that you find a way to cover it up, and then you live in this toxic situation where you're now breeding generational curse.
And again, if you leave the relationship, what you have to do first is seek help and get yourself in a place where you don't allow someone to batter you,
right,
or push you to a place where you have to batter them.
Yeah.
Because if you don't go seek some help, what's going to happen? You're going to take that same behavior, take it into another relationship, and then you're going to keep being toxic.
Yes. And I have one more clip to play with regards to that. Foxamillion said the fact that it was done on TV, there is nothing Vado can say to prove it never happened before.
Okay.
Yeah, and plus it's irrelevant if it's happened before or not. In the grand scheme of things, it's actually irrelevant if it's happened before or not. It just happened. That means you have the capability of being violent with a woman, right? If you find yourself, and it doesn't have to be about right or wrong, or it's your fault, or she caused it or not. Your reactions is always
all that matters.
It's an action that you're responsible for. So that's that. So good point there. And says also she should have never hit him in the face with the apples. You're not wrong at all. But again, life is very complex by itself. So if you don't separate issues, you're just gonna have an argument. You're just gonna end up in an argument with another person that says, no, but it doesn't make it right. And then the other person still knows it, but it makes it right. She caused it. You get into this cause and effect thing, right? And it just never ends. That's why a lot of people find themselves, in spite of being good people, they find themselves in situations that are extremely toxic. Because they are busy trying to fight for right, who's wrong, who caused it, who started it. That whole idea of started it thing, like, it's not really relevant in relationships and marriage. You have to take responsibility for your actions as fast as you can detect that I was also responsible. So now in this case, the last in that series, in that sequence, is Vado. He has to take full responsibility for his conduct.
No, he has to, absolutely.
And it's very hard to do. And I'm acknowledging that it's very hard to take responsibility because, as a person, he's remembering, like, you just threw apples at me.
He felt disrespected. He felt treated like a punk.
Right.
He lost it. And look, I understand all that. But at the same time, I'm sure that's not the first time Tahiri did that. You've allowed yourself to be disrespected by this human being.
Right.
You stay there, she's going to keep doing it. She's not going to stop until you remove yourself. So you being in love with this toxic person makes it like, okay, who are you? Do you even value yourself?
Yeah. So now we're getting into self-value. Like, you don't put yourself in harm's way emotionally and physically.
Right.
If you value yourself. All of that is just a sign of a bunch of low self-worth on both parts. It's not a matter of right and wrong. When you don't know what you would do if you find yourself in a situation where you're being tampered with emotionally. You just don't know, okay? And you don't know until you're in it.
Yep.
So it's not a matter of right and wrong. It's a matter of, like, you know what? I want to have healthy relationships in my life. And the fact that it comes to a place where we have to assault each other is just not good. Okay, so we're not gonna go back and say, "Oh, Vado was wrong." No, we're doing that. We did react that way because that's physical violence, and people can die like that fast. You know, so no, we can't take that for granted. And it starts from emotional abuse because again, you don't know. Because all of it is triggered emotionally first before people start acting out of character.
Yeah, and I also feel like I wasn't surprised because I saw it coming, not that way, but I knew something was going to blow up.
Right.
The minute they kept talking about the exes, I'm like,
exes,
okay, you stay in the moment and
Yeah.
stop living in the past, you know.
Yeah.
So
Some of the
I'm not
issues that
surprised.
he was so much concerned about was basically signals that he was still a young adult. Kind of. I don't want to call him a boy. I'm being respectful to him, but he was acting like a boy.
He was
He was basically a boy that was in a grown man's business, and it just never it won't end up well. And it's not a matter of age. You could be 50, 60,
Oh yeah,
and you're still acting like a
child.
boy.
Yeah.
Right. So let's play this last clip to see if it's learned anything.
I've been chilling.
So she was asking
Chilling. Yeah. I mean,
Vado,
listen,
did you really just say that?
No, she wasn't asking for nothing. That was just
because that's what you're saying.
no, that was just fed up and not thinking right.
I'm sorry I have to have this conversation with you.
So I'm not sure if you heard that part. It said, I was just chilling. It said, so she was asking for it. And he said, yeah, like, wait, did you just say that? So again, this is about the cause and effect thing, right? Who caused it? Who started it?
Yeah.
You have to take responsibility for your actions, even if it was a reaction
Yeah.
to other people. We're adults. We're supposed to be at least, right? So let's play that again one more time.
I've been chilling.
So she was asking
Chilling. Yeah. I mean,
Vado,
listen,
did you really just say that?
No, she wasn't asking for nothing. That
Wait, he gave him the bait and
He
he
gave
ran
him
with
the bait.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Let me read this person. Says Cake says, guys, no matter what you're going through, you should trust yourself and don't trust what you're going through, I guess, or doing through. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is it's very hard to suddenly he just try to choke a woman, or in the words of my wife, choked a woman.
Wow, that's what it did
Right.
to me. I don't know why we're saying attempt.
In that, if he just did that like a moment ago, it's very hard for him to suddenly realize that was wrong, especially when he's still feeling like she got me in this position.
Yes.
She made me get in this position.
Yes.
And most men don't even say that, from my experience. At least men, maybe boys say that because it's a boy, right? A lot of women do say that. You made me do it. Remember we were talking about that yesterday? You made me do it. Like, it's very hard to be in a position to not see how a person made you do what you did. It's very hard to be in a position where you say, you know what? I played a part in that.
Yes.
It's not the easiest thing to do, especially consistently, So we're just going to let him pass. He needs to get help.
He needs to seek help.
Because whatever is triggering that makes a part of his brain feels like it's okay to lunge at a woman and choke a woman and then think, oh yeah, she asked for it. No, nobody ever asked for that. They were also in a place of weakness when she was acting out and throwing apples and all those kind of things. She was also in a place of weakness because she obviously found herself in a relationship that
and
was
you shouldn't
toxic.
never let anyone throw apples at you. I'm sorry. To me, it could have even walked off that set. Like, you threw apples at me, that's disrespectful.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not taking this nonsense from you.
Exactly.
But he didn't. He stood there and he kept building up.
If it's a marriage, a relationship, doesn't matter. If a person got violent with you, doesn't matter if a woman or a man. You'd be like, how dare you? And you don't have to say that out in words. That's how you should feel, at least. That, wow, I brought myself into the wrong scenario or context. Like, how did I get myself into this kind of mess?
But you could
that
tell
should be where your mind
that's a
should
norm
be.
for them. You could tell when people already, this is just what they do.
Right.
This is not the first time she's throwing. I could tell you right now. It might not be apples. Maybe it's oranges or pears, or even worse, maybe
it could be a hit on the side of the head.
It's not the first time.
Don't tolerate that. And the way you don't tolerate that is not by beating the person back up. It's to remove that. I gotta remove myself. I'm going back. I'm going to the hotel. I'm gonna go sleep over my friends. You gotta figure that out. I will not tolerate that. We can't afford toxic relationship,
No,
much
it's
less
not okay.
physical violence of any measures. Like it could be just a little push. No, no, stop. Like let's not encourage that. We're emotionally charged. The last thing we should be doing is touching each other physically. Anything can go wrong, right?
And people will come with excuses like, "Oh, because of my kids, I stayed." No, you can't do that. You're not doing that child any favor. You're actually damaging them more. You need to get out of that relationship, or at least separate yourself for now.
Separation is what we're talking about, not necessarily getting out of
Maybe not get
a
out,
full-blown
but
relationship or a marriage, because
yeah.
for one, it's not that easy to get out of a marriage, right? For one, it's just not.
No,
right?
the paperwork is absolutely overwhelming.
Yeah, exactly. But physically speaking, you need to remove yourself until further notice, sort it out. Separation. We're going to be talking about attraction today. We have a lot to say about attraction. That's all part of it. They've gotten to a place where they're taking you for granted. So the first thing is separation of some sort, at least starting with the physical. Let that person process what just happened, and let them process the fact that, wow, you respect yourself so much, because if you now get violent with that person, you still don't respect yourself, because again, you're creating more of what you should be avoiding, basically. Right. So that's that. Let's get into the second show. The second show we watch also is Own's Love and Marriage, Huntsville, Alabama. So we got a couple of clips. Three couples that are basically legacy couple for the past one season. So I think they had it a few, but there's so much drama with the three couples that they haven't really had a chance to really introduce the other ones properly. But let's go into this few clips, and then I want to hear what you think about it. Right?
As moms and wives, hey babe, look at that. So as moms and wives, we tend to fill up our schedule day to day from all of the different activities with kids.
All right, so the couple we just saw, we addressed them in the previous review session. This is Marceau and Letitia. Marceau is how would you describe him in 2 words or less?
He's
It's a protector, it's a provider.
It's the alpha male. Okay, this is what they like to call them.
All right.
Alpha male.
All right, if you want to call him that, we could go with that.
Yes.
But it's a protector, it's a provider. What is the man supposed to be? A man.
Let's just say he does what. Well, he does what stand-up man would do.
I'm just gonna be a straight shooter now. His emotional intelligence is extremely low.
Like most alpha male until they get in trouble. Okay, with their women.
Not all alpha male has low intelligence. I said like
most. I didn't say all.
How do you define low intelligence? Sorry, how do you define alpha male rather?
He's a protector. He's a provider. He's a stand-up man. He's what most women are looking for. Like, you got it together.
Financially, and I believe he loves his wife, but when it comes to emotional connection, you don't think emotional connection is a characteristic of an alpha male?
I don't think so. I think that's something alpha male have to learn. I don't think it's something they know off of just right there. It's just not them.
So the definition of alpha male, you're right, by the way. The definition of alpha male is the dominant male animal in a particular group.
Okay.
A man tending to assume a dominant, assume a dominant or domineering role in social or professional situation. Okay, so that doesn't make you emotionally intelligent. She's right.
I'm just saying, most men out there don't even understand why their wives complain. They're right. Like, she's just being a bitch. But no, she's not just being a bitch.
And you could be dominant.
You have to learn something new. Sorry. She's not just being a bitch. Something is off.
You could be dominant and still lose your relationship because you're not,
of course, emotionally intelligent.
When we say emotionally intelligent, let's keep it simple. It just means that you have respect for emotions. And you understand that it's a big part of the science of relationships. You understand that it's a big part of what makes up a relationship. And when we say emotions, we're not just talking about yours. We're not talking about you got caught up in your own emotions. We all have the ability to do that.
Of course.
We can all get caught up in our emotions. Emotional intelligence becomes a thing when you start becoming a student of other people's emotions, especially the people that you're in relationship with.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to, I got caught up in my emotion, which is never, they will never admit that, by the way, when they do. And as opposed to that, and camouflaging it in the whole alpha male thing. I'm here to protect you. I'll protect you. And that's what, so this guy has been a little bit low on emotional intelligence, and but he just showed up to his wife's event. If you followed us from reviewing before, he said he wasn't going to come because he got caught up in his emotions. But he came to the event and he brought some flowers.
Well,
and that's good.
Well, that shows that
right?
he loves his wife. I'm not going. There's no doubt he loves his wife.
Right.
It's just that he doesn't understand that the things that his wife is complaining about is not attacking him. He feels an attack every time the wife talks about her feelings, and he becomes defensive.
Yes.
And when you're like that, there's no way you can hear what the other person is talking about.
Yeah.
So how can you help someone when you don't even know what they're talking about?
Right.
So I think that's where he's missing it.
He's missing, absolutely.
But if he can get it together,
and a lot of people miss it like that.
I like them.
At least we know. At least we know, per Gary Chapman, that there are 5 love languages. There's probably more, but
yes,
at least we know at least there are 5.
Yes.
Right? So you can't just get caught up on how you communicate in love. Your wife may be different, and a lot of time when she's asking, like a lot of things that Letitia is asking for, which we're gonna watch a clip right now. A lot of those things are just emotional stuff. She's not even putting them properly in words. So, but it's also not listening.
That's her still protecting him by
emotionally.
She still doesn't want to say some things that will hurt his friends.
She's protecting him. So another example of a woman who will end up protecting their man but suffer. They will be suffering emotionally in that respect. Can you place the videos to cover you both perfectly? Which video? This one right here. Can you place your phone so you can see both of us?
Wait.
Unless the monitor
put it in the middle like this. I want to see you more.
No, I think they want to see you.
They can't see me. Jesus.
Oh, they talking about me?
Yeah, get in the.
I mean, I guess.
Come in.
But anyway, right. So it's a little bit deeper than just being an alpha male, being a protector, a provider. That's not enough anymore. Maybe 60 years ago that was enough.
Right.
But we are getting enlightened more and more as mankind, as a human race, and the woman is also getting enlightened. She knows that she can have freedom in a relationship, and she can still be a wife and take care of her kids and take care of the home, but she can also feel free, right? She knows that. So, man, you don't have a pat on the back just because you provide and protect anymore. It's just not enough, and it gets worse when she's asking for you to listen and you don't understand what it means to listen. We're going to talk all about that because, again, all of this is attached to attraction that we're going to talk about in a few minutes here. Let's play the next clip. There's a lot of things going on with this guy. Bringing flowers is cute, it's nice, but that's often not what a woman is asking for when a marriage or a relationship is going through crisis.
Right.
Because a lot of men are very quick to run to, let me go buy flowers.
Yeah,
or let me say I'm sorry. Right?
Fix it right now.
Those could be quick fixes, but again, that's exactly what they are, quick fixes, right? And just it's a matter of time before the woman starts saying, like, they start actually resenting you more the more you bring flowers and apologize. It actually gets worse.
Yep.
So you want to make sure that flowers and what do you call those things? Opening the door. What do you call those things? That's a word for it. If you know, just remind me. Those things are cute. They're designed to be icing on the cake. They can't be the cake. Okay.
Yeah, for a relationship that is still, that is healthy.
For a relationship that's healthy,
nice.
It's nice.
Yes, it's nice.
If your wife likes flowers, I guess. My wife doesn't.
They die. Yeah. I don't know how to take care of flowers.
But it's based on that, So we'll talk about that in a second here. Let's play another clip real quick.
I didn't recognize you with your hair like that.
I didn't expect you to bring flowers, but you did.
Because you're a hater. How you doing?
You is a hater.
Give me a hug.
Crazy.
All right,
I
so
can't.
he just called his mother-in-law a hater. I guess that's just a joke.
What?
But those jokes
extreme.
can those jokes. Somebody said a gentleman chivalry. I meant chivalry, but yeah, a gentleman. You know, that's the word I was looking for. But I think Ekaleo.
Ekaleo.
So
oh, he said Ekaleo. Okay, I'm wondering why he said Ekaleo, and I'm like Ekaleo.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm talking about chivalry. Those things are nice and cute and all, but they can't be the cake. They have to be icing on the cake. It's nice when you guys are in a good place and stuff like that. Just kind of like marriage counseling, most marriage counseling at least. It's nice when you're having a little hiccup in communications and you just want to talk it through. But 2 hours, if you're already in crisis, is just never good enough. You know, or
Not
an
when
hour.
you're choking yourself already.
Yeah,
you guys have to
it's
go
never good enough.
separately. And
You have
take
to
care
figure
of
yourselves out individually, and then maybe hopefully bring something to the table. It's kind of like like counseling is kind of like the relationship. You have to be 100% and then bring that to the table to make it effective. If you go there fresh, raw, out of an argument, you're just going to argue and then come out of the place and then still be bitter.
Mad as hell.
Yeah. So, but this guy, one of the things you need to learn is that women will always test you. All the women in your life, including your mother, your mother-in-law,
You can't call your mother-in-law a hater.
your sister-in-laws.
That's extreme.
They will test you, especially the tests are a lot more when you are going through crisis. Well, they are going through crisis, no matter how much they try to paint it to look nice on the outside. They are doing a terrible job of painting it to look good, by the way. But they're going through crisis. And in the midst of that, all the women in your life will test you. How does your own mother test you? Your mother will start testing you by little talks that can instigate more trouble, asking issues about your wife and stuff like that. And then if you catch the bait, you get in more issues. Yes, even though she loves you and she was doing that out of love.
Right.
Your mother-in-law will test you because she's trying to protect her daughter, and all the tests are not necessarily they're not deliberately testing you. They're also trying to figure things out, but they're not in the relationship. You're being tested because you're the one in the relationship, and you better be passing all those tests. And if you don't, counseling is more like a relationship. Wow. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Thank you for stopping by, Official Bob. All right. So you want to make sure you show up prepared. Most people don't show up prepared. They go there to point fingers, and that's why it doesn't work out most of the time. All right. So let's go to the next clip. So you can't. Your mother-in-law is talking to you, and you're a hater. That's probably the wrong timing to say that, but I get it. He may claim that it was a joke. He took things too serious.
No, I don't get it. I'm sorry.
That woman that I'm looking at right now, nothing is a joke to her. Her face looks like she's smiling all the time, but she's serious. And she's causing a lot of trouble, even outside of the marriage, even with the relationship that they have with other couples.
Your job is to keep seducing your mother.
She's getting on social media.
Your mother-in-law needs to be in your corner. Okay? That's the best
Thank
thing
you, for
you can do for
that.
yourself. So you can't call your mother-in-law a hater. Even if she's a hater, you can't say the word.
Thank you for reminding me that.
Horrible.
Especially when you go through crisis, you need your mother-in-law to be your ally. Doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. You need your mother-in-law to be your ally in your relationships. If it's the other way around, if you put yourself in a position where your mother-in-law is having to protect their own child, listen, it doesn't matter if you're right. It's going to destroy your relationships. It's only a matter of time. Yep. You need to do everything in your power to make sure your in-laws are your ally. Listen, you don't have to be right. Right is useless in the world of power, in the world of relationships. Being right is, for the most part, overrated. It's useless. Okay? How about make other people feel right, and then everything will look right for you, right? Because again, it's all about feelings. For the most part, that's what's driving the forces in your relationships. But thanks for reminding me that it's very important that you understand that you need to, everything in your power, without being manipulative, do everything in your power to make and yes, they may be evil in your eyes. Okay. They may be acting out, and it's going to be difficult sometimes, but do everything in your power to make your in-laws your ally, even if it's old relationship, even if you guys have moved on. If this person is in your children's life, make sure you do everything in your power to make them your ally, because it will make your life a lot more easier, and you will have better quality of life too. Let's go on to the next one here. Now, this is a conversation between Marcel and his wife. Okay, We're kind of focusing on them right now because the episodes are focusing on them. But we have one more.
So do you think that I caused all of this? Do you think it's my fault?
You have to take responsibility for every part of your life that's not where you want it to be. No matter what happens, you got to take responsibility for the rain.
All right. So she said, do you think it's my fault? If a woman, your wife, asks you, do you think it's my fault? What do you women mean when you say that? You don't mean to test us. It's a test, but you don't mean to test us.
So what is she exactly
what is
talking
she talking
about?
about?
She's talking about how she feels as in being lost and all that. Is that what that's what she's saying, I'm assuming.
Say that again.
She's asking if it's her fault for feeling how she feels, like she's lost and all that in the marriage.
No, she's asking if it's her fault, period.
What is her fault?
She went to the event. She went to the event. The context is not going to matter, I promise, but let me explain it, right? She went to an event. She got kicked out of the event by another friend couple.
That one.
And he's engaging with the husband, and basically he came back home narrating to his wife what happened after the engagement.
Right.
And somehow the conversation got lured in the direction of, do you think it's my fault? Right? He was being tested one more time by his woman. She's not deliberately testing you. She's trying to feel right. She's looking for a shoulder to cry on. She's looking for someone to be on her side. And what most men do is take the bait. Basically, they take it as an attack, right? And then they go into this logic mode, which, by the way, they're not logical in my own opinion, but everybody says that men are more logical. Is BS. That's emotions. If you feel the need to have to be right all the time, that's your emotions at play. That's not logic. Because if you are really going logic, you will understand that people have psychology, and you understand why a woman is asking you, do you think it's my fault? It's a test.
Yeah, no. I mean, I kind of understand. It needs to be less. It's being harsh. It's too much. It needs to tone it down. Yeah. He's already a man. Don't use that harshness on your wife. She doesn't need it. But I understand where it's coming from, in the sense that Letitia showed up at a place that she was not invited to.
Right.
To someone's event, the person that you are not even talking to, this person is not talking to you. You guys are fighting, and then you put yourself in a situation. You went there, and this other person is like a blunt speaker, you know what they call them, a realist and all that stuff. This person ordered that you should be thrown out of our event. And at the end of the day, the husband is now hearing that you disrespected him and yourself at some place that you weren't supposed to be. So I think he was a little pissed off about that. And then she's asking, do you think it's my fault? We all know it's her fault that she went there.
Exactly.
She shouldn't have gone there.
Listen, if a woman is asking you, do you think it's my fault? There's a chance, at least a 50% chance that it's probably her fault.
Yeah,
but she wasn't looking for you to
say, oh no,
yes, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I know a little tricky. Should we tell her lies? Should we, we're gonna get into the heart of attraction here in a second, and I will touch on that. If you're actually telling her lies, if you need to tell her lies, how do you build attraction? We're going to talk about all that in a second, right?
Yeah.
But again, they're in the middle of crisis. So right now, everything is a test.
Yeah, I think he should have approached it in a way of, babe, I would have preferred if you let me know first. At least I could have told you, we could have talked about it.
I mean, he said that.
But it was the way he came off at her. Like,
it's how you say things that matters. In relationships, it's not what you say, it's how you say things. And sometimes the word you utter, your choices of words matters, right?
They do.
Do you think it's my fault? And then you go for the juggler instantly. You go for the kill. You have to take accountability. You have to be accountable, right? Let's play the second clip here in a second.
Did you say to him about that? I mean, did you defend me on that situation, or?
I mean, I didn't defend you. I wasn't there. But what I did tell him, I think it was inappropriate.
Well, why would you not defend me? You knew I went there to
let me ask you.
Talk to her to try to resolve the issue.
What does defense look like?
Like, dude, you call security on my wife like she's a threat?
Yeah, I said that. Okay, that's what you call defending. Yes, I said that.
Okay, well, that's all I wanted to make sure. Because I have to make sure that we're on the same team.
All right, so I'm guilty of this sometimes. My wife is saying one thing, and I say, "Oh, that's what you call this." Basically, I'm trying to be logical. I'm her choices of words can be confusing, right? But this is where listening, actively listening, is very important, and being able to see ahead of time what she's saying. She may use a choice of word. If you get into the semantics and you start arguing with her on what word means and stuff like that, it becomes messy. Imagine what you were just talking just now. You went into details. Anybody who didn't watch that show still didn't understand what the hell happened at what event, right? But I still let you finish it. I let you continue and say all those things, but it came back to, remember what I said, it wouldn't matter. When your woman is trying to cry on your shoulder, you need to learn how to detect that. You want to tell her the truth. There's a right time, there's a right place to tell her the truth. There's a right mood to tell her the truth. You, especially when you feel like you're about to be defensive, it's probably the wrong time to tell her the truth, because again, that's just your own emotions at play, right? And what you call truth vary from mood to mood, from place to place, and that can vary, right? So if she says, the first thing she said is, did you defend me? All she wanted to know is not necessarily if you defend her. She need to feel that you defended her, right? She need to feel that you defend her. Oh, that's what you call defending you? Oh yeah, I said that. But his first knee-jerk reaction is to defend himself. You see what I'm saying? So that's very tricky. It's very hard, but it gets easier with time. You just need to be sensitive to when your woman is trying to feel right in a situation that's already complicated. She's having this fight with another lady out there. She feels like you are on her side. She said it. We just need to be on the same team.
And the lady's husband, they're so good. As in, they know how to be on the same team. If you come attacking them, even though they're going through stuff, they come for you. So they're a team, and she needs him to be the same.
She needs to feel like they're on the same team.
Right.
And that's what she's lacking. Since the last season, she's been feeling like they're not on the same team. And if your woman says, I don't feel like we're on the same team, it's not your moment, it's not your cue to start proving logically that what makes you think we're not on the same team. She doesn't feel like we're on the same, doesn't mean you're not on the same team. She doesn't feel like you're on the same team. So especially if she said, did you defend me? What do you mean defend you? If your knee-jerk reaction goes to that mode where you want to defend yourself, just say, what do you mean defending you? So you can take the time to process what she's saying, and also you can say the right thing, because that conversation is argumentative in nature, which is already bad, and the best thing you can do in that moment is, of course, I always defend you. I always defend you, babe. I don't know what do you mean defending you? I always defend you. I'm just saying, did you? And then she probably will start her a little bit and like, I always defend you, babe. Don't worry, everything is gonna be fine. That's all she needs to know. She needs to feel like everything is gonna be fine when she's having a conversation with you in the middle of crisis, especially in the middle of crisis, and is doing a poor job with that. So that's Marcel and Letitia. They're struggling, and I think the struggle can easily be stopped if you just calm down and stop being so logical and stop trying to speak the truth. Now, I told you so. Like, your woman doesn't want to hear I told you so. She probably know that she was know already that she was wrong. And I told you so is probably, again, this is a woman you're going to live with, and I told you so, not just even your woman. I told you so is just a terrible place to go to when somebody is already wrong, they're already feeling bad. What they need is a support system.
Right.
If she got walked out of the event by police,
and she was crying in the car.
Of course she will cry. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
So the last thing that she wants, even a man, even let me say this to ladies, even ladies, I told you so, it's not a loving thing to say. Especially if that person is already feeling bad. You should always go into a relationship to give. What they need at that point in time is to soothe their feelings. They feel terrible already. And it's very hard to not say I told you so if you knew that you told that person so. It's very hard, but try. That's why you rise to a new level where you learn how to give love to a person that already feel terrible,
Yeah.
Let's play this last clip, and then we'll get into the topic of the day, the heart of attraction. You're going to tell me what you mean when you came up with this topic. You're going to tell me again.
Oh.
Okay. Because I asked her a million times, what do you mean attraction? And then she told me, but we have some things to cover. We're going to talk about heart of attraction. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be a big, big deal. If you're in any kind of relationship or marriage, this topic is a big deal.
For everybody.
All right. So let's go into the last clip of Love and Marriage, Huntsville.
I'm not even going to say cordial. It's enough for us to talk about. I don't want to shake your hand. I'm not going to even speak to you or anything like that.
I feel like I could be in the same room with them, you know? Yeah, I could be in the same room with them, but you know me. I go in, say what I got to say, chop it up like I need to chop it up in deuces. I rip them good part real good with the words.
Okay.
You know, you ever been told off by somebody so good that you wish they had to just pimp slapped you instead?
Of course. Yeah, guess who?
Oh.
You.
Yeah.
All right.
It got real.
It got real. So this couple right now in this moment in the show, they seem like she got pregnant, so they're patching things up. They kind of like cover their mess up with the pregnancy. That happens a lot. People get pregnant and we move on, kind of like everything is okay, but not really. We just kind of brush things under the rug. That shit's gonna come back up later.
Yes.
But that's exactly what happened to them. I think right now, last time we heard anything about them, they had already filed for divorce. But in this point in time in the show, they are doing okay. They seem to be doing all right. But at least that's what they're showing the show, right? In the beginning of that clip, he said he basically is painting the picture of how petty he can get.
That's Mattel and
Melody Holtz, right? So he was basically painting the picture of how petty he can get. He was telling that to his wife and how petty he could get to other men. What I wanted to say on that, before I say that, what do you think about that clip?
I don't know. Melody is a blunt speaker. Mattel is a petty guy. Like the combination will only be explosive.
Yeah.
I'm just not. They will have to do a lot of work on themselves because, as you can see, even during the break, before the season came back, they had a few times they went on social media going for each other's jugular and stuff like that. So they have a lot of work.
I mean, again, petty. You know, the guy is too petty. They're the type of get on social media, abuse each other, talk about each other.
Yeah.
And I always say, if there's a clog up, if there's an entanglement in the issues, the man should be the leader. Period. Okay. A woman can.
Oh yeah, they have their own entanglement.
Oh, they have entanglement issues, by the way.
Yeah.
They have. The guy was in a relationship for 5 years with a side chick. And that's also a social media drama. But right now, at least they seem to be okay. But in the midst of them seeming to be okay, they find pleasure in attacking another couple. That is never a good thing. Okay.
You know what I say when I see a couple going through stuff, and I see another couple taking joy and pleasure
in the misery of another couple,
and this couple happen to be your friends, or it could even be your family, and you're enjoying it. It just shows me that you're miserable.
That's word.
It shows that you're going through something, and this is just like wosa for you to,
only miserable people find pleasure in talking about other people's misery.
Especially if they're your friends and your family, and you can't even feel any empathy because these are the people close to you at least.
Right.
You should want to help them.
Now, this could be confusing because in one place we're saying Marcel should be on the side of his wife, but now we're saying that they shouldn't be attacking other people. Which one is which one? Right?
Well, Marcel should always have his wife's back anytime, any day. But they are also guilty of seeing their friends go through stuff, and they took that and they started capitalizing on that and making it their own place of joy. I mean, they have their issues. I sincerely think Letitia, her issue is with Melody. I feel like she has a toxic relationship with Melody. Like she admires Melody from afar and she wants to be close to her. But then when she's close to her, she starts to it's like a player hater thing. Like she starts to be envious, jealous because of her own low self-esteem. So
that's a lot to say.
So I cannot really blame Melody the way she reacts to Letitia. Because Letitia really needs to get her shit
she's
together.
not reacting right now. She's talking with her husband, and they're
but they're talking about them. They're talking about them. They're talking about their friends.
Yeah,
they're talking about the same people.
Anyway, that picture of him painting a picture of how paid he could get.
But remember, they're also
it's a testament to how he treats his wife when they're going through it.
Yes, they're also talking about. You have to remember, they're also hurt. because they feel like their friends didn't have their back. Because when they started going through their shit, these people went on social media and said stuff about
so they hurt and
their business partners and friends. You don't expect that from people that are close to you.
But you said they hurt. Is that an excuse?
It's not an excuse, but hey, they are also weak. That's what I'm trying to point out there.
That's what I was trying to point out. Like, listen, hurts will come. That's the point I was trying to point out. That hurts will come in relationships. It's about rising above the hurt. It's not about doing the right thing. It's about rising above the hurt. When I say right thing is it just limits into the moment in time. But what about the right thing in the long run, in nurturing that relationship for the long run, right? That's the part that most people don't talk about. So no, absolutely, she was hurt. They talked about them. They talk about her mother on social media. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on,
you know,
between those friendships. Now, I agree with you that Mattel, look, I always tell people, if you have a spouse that is quick to disrespect people and you go in the corner and you're clapping
for you
and you're hailing, oh my God, she's spicy. Oh, my spouse, it doesn't take nonsense. He cancel people out. The day will start with you because you're the one closest to him. You should never be okay with your spouse being disrespectful because it's going to come back on you.
Yeah, exactly.
So I agree with you. That pettiness.
Like, I trust my wife. She's going to slap the shit out of them. I trust my husband. No, you're going to get the slap at some point too.
Yes, it's going to result to you.
Because again, this is just how they behave. It's in their character.
Yes.
You know? It's just how they behave. And it's not with respect to the subject of the matter at that point in time. It's about whoever is the subject of the matter at any point in time. So you're going to be on the receiving end of that at some point. So be careful when you encourage those kind of behavior. You know?
And that's what Mattel does. It gets petty with his wife because this is just a petty dude. He does that with his friends. He does it with whoever. So I'm not surprised that he does that with Melody.
Yep. So again, we're talking about love and marriage. We're not talking about right and wrong. We're not talking about principles that are attached to religion, culture, anything like that. We're talking about if there's any kind of religion here, we're talking about relationships, which is inevitable. You're gonna have relationships, and we're talking about marriage in particular, especially in a marriage. You're gonna have to learn the skills if you want to be happy, because your happiness is not gonna come from the other person. It's just gonna be in how you are able to, your ability to be able to handle your emotions, control your emotions, and it's easier said than done. It's a skill set, you know, and because it's very quickly you're gonna remember who wronged you when it comes down to it. And if that's what controls how you behave, you're gonna suffer more. Basically, who wronged you? If that's how you think, if that's your compass for how you decide how you move in relationships. And if you're looking to take always too, if you're looking, because that's also wronging you when they don't give to you.
Yes, because you've given so much of yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
So right now, what we're gonna do is that Instagram is probably gonna end any minute, in a few minutes. So we have the link pinned over there. If it does end or anything like that, you just want to join us on Facebook and YouTube. Just go to lolaola.com/live. We're still going to be having a conversation. Remember, we're talking about the heart of our
attraction.
Right now, we're talking about art of attraction tonight, and we have a few questions that I'm going to throw at my wife. She's going to help us out.
Okay.
Right? She's going to help us.
Expert.
She's going to help us bring more attraction into our marriage, so you can have more sex like rabbits. So you can, basically want to do nothing else other than just have sex with each other, and everything else that comes with attraction.
Okay, we shall see.
All right. So just in case Instagram ends, you know where to find us. It's pinned over there. With that being said, let's dive into today's main topic. Today's main topic is the heart of attraction. To you, what is attraction?
Attraction is like, when we were teenagers.
No, sorry. Before you go there. Okay, finish that. And then I have another question, because you came up with this topic and I want to know what was going through your mind when you came up with this question. We can go through it. But go ahead and describe attraction.
Well, attraction to me is chemistry.
Let me interrupt you again.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm going to let you receive your award. I'm going to let you receive your award.
What's the award?
I was doing Kanye West and Taylor Swift. But anyway, but before I let you finish, right? The smile on her face attraction. When I talk attraction, when I said she should describe attraction, there's a smile that came on her face when she started to describe that, and you could basically see the butterflies flying out of her stomach. But go ahead, yeah, go ahead, babe. Come on, tell me, what's attraction?
Like I said, to me, it's chemistry. You know, that connection, that fireworks that you feel when you're, when you see someone you like, when over the moon and all that.
Right.
That's attraction to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the moon. What does that mean?
When you're like so in love with someone,
in love with the person,
the in love experience,
the in love, right.
It tell you to put your leg over your head. You don't even know you can do that. You will do it shy. That kind of thing. You would do anything for someone.
So you're saying in love experience, not actual love in a person, not the love,
not the deliberate part,
not the deliberate part that you're supposed to at some point, but the in love. Okay, all right, that's fair enough. Now tell me, why did you come up with this topic? What were you thinking? What did you want us to talk about when you came up with this topic? The heart of attraction, the heart. I know I have H factor. The heart, ART of attraction.
Well, I have a few, few groups that I'm a part of, and people always have that question about how to they have spouses that have let themselves go. How do you get that spouse how do you get them to the point of when you first met them, the way things were?
Oh, okay.
When you had the butterflies and all that stuff, because
that feeling.
Oh,
the butterflies.
Yeah, when couples, after a while,
you get that back?
People start feeling blah in their relationship because there's no excitement. There's, of course, they're complacent. There's nothing to go home to look forward to. There's nothing sizzling, not even in the bedroom, but just in their life generally. And they find themselves being attracted to that person outside that, they feel like the grass is greener on the other side. They watch other people, they compare themselves, and they seem lost.
Okay. So
that's where I came with,
so for people that feel lost, people that feel like they've lost the spice, they've lost the excitement, they've lost what was the word we used last week when we were talking about insecurity? They've lost the newness, the feeling of newness in that relationship. They're not excited. A lot of them are not excited to come home after work.
They're just numb.
Right. They're living as roommates, basically, right?
And even when they have sex, they're just having the basics.
Right. It's out of like an obligation.
Obligation.
Kind of like it's an obligation. Like that's the worst type of. It's like a punishment.
It's like, oh yeah, finish what you want to finish.
Just do what you gotta do.
Do what you gotta.
We know we're supposed to have it, so let's just have it. As opposed to we want to have it.
Yes.
Yeah. Some people have it as an obedience thing, right? Just obey your husband and have sex with him.
Submit.
Submission. Yeah. I mean, so as opposed to that, attraction is when you actually want to be in it. When you actually want it. All right. Anyway, so we got 31 seconds on Instagram. If you want to join us, you could go to lolaola.com/live. You can see it on the screen right there. Okay, so now the first thing I want to point out about attraction, right? Let me first of all ask you this question. How important is attraction? Physical or mental? Because some people are very quick to say mental, physical, right? In a marriage, how important is that?
Well, attraction is very, very important because, like you said, you're always looking for that newness. And as human beings, it comes to a state that you just get bored. And when you get bored in everything else in your life, you always look for a way to find something new, right?
Right.
But instead of when it comes to your marriage, you can't just find something new.
Yeah.
You need to work on whatever that issue is.
Because you're in a marriage.
Right. But what most people do is they don't even talk about it.
Yeah, they're just there.
If I'm not telling you that, babe, You're not doing what we used to do. If I don't complain, I just accept
I mean,
you.
the first time I
is.
experienced that feeling in our marriage earlier on, I basically concluded that I guess that's how marriage is supposed to be.
You see, and that's not true. That's not how marriage is supposed to be. But we all have it in our head, like, you know what? That's just how all marriages are, and it's not true.
Yeah.
So I feel like healthy marriages, they have the conversation. And they're having the conversation in a light mode that you don't feel like somebody's attacking you. So if I come to you and say, baby, you're having a tell it all be there a little bit. We need to let's walk out. And you take an offense to that. I mean, how are we supposed to help our situation?
Right.
You know, there are ways,
and it's very hard not to take an offense.
And it's hard not to take an offense. Yeah. Like I hear, some men don't know how to talk to their wives, for example. They'll be like, she's fat. You can't just say that.
I mean, a lot of men don't have game. I was on my high school group, which I was watching some of their conversations within. Right. So there's this girl that proposed to. There's this guy that proposed to the girl, and he wasn't kneeling down. And the girl was like, "You're not gonna kneel down." And dude was like, I have love for you. That should be enough. If I kneel down, that's no more love." Basically, they got into an argument right there, and the girl walked away. Didn't accept the ring, right? So they started a conversation, and some of those guys were basically saying they are traditional. They don't understand all this proposal nonsense and all this craziness.
I mean, didn't the guy say that, we've been in a relationship for 5 years. I have real love for you. But that's not the point in the moment. This is your woman. You should know you've been in a relationship with her for 5 years. You should know what she loves. You should know what some women say it to me. I don't care if a man kneels down or not.
But that's to you.
To
the keyword
me,
phrase is to you.
I don't care about stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you know the type of woman you have, you know she likes this thing. What does it take you to give it to her?
Right.
I honestly think that.
Do you think it was too late at the point that I was asking for her hands in marriage to now submit to her wishes? Because they were being filmed, right?
It's not too late. If you really love that girl, babe, that's what you want. I will be a fool for you, for your love.
Do you think he wasn't attracted enough to want to be there?
No, it was his ego. It was a stinking ego. He was thinking about, now people are going to think I'm a punk. This is a woman that you love, that you claim that you want to be with.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it today.
Who cares about the outside world? Who cares what they are going to say?
We're
you know what they are taking from their own spouses at home? You don't know. But if you love someone, you give them what they want. As long as it's not, it's not you taking from yourself.
Right. Well, we're definitely going to talk about it today. I feel.
Attraction gets you.
Hi, DK Lillian. Attraction gets you through the door.
Yes.
But commitment keeps you for longer.
I agree with you.
Yes, I agree 100%. Attraction is basically, like you mentioned, in love.
In love experience.
Right? Which means you're not in control. Right? Which means, butterflies. Right? You just saw the thing and boom, you're attracted to it. But the idea of being attracted to that boom is because it won't last. It's actually the exact effect of you didn't have it before. Now you see it. It's attraction. It creates attraction, like something you never had. But the moment it's become you've had it, attraction does disappear. So there's a word that comes to mind here. Let me pull it on the screen. When it comes to attraction, when I put this on the screen, symptom.
All right.
Okay. So when you meet a person for the first time, it's not really a symptom. It's almost like it feels like it's a cause. Or if somebody tells you, like, how did we meet, right? You start telling about the attraction as the first energy that happened chemistry that happened between us. Right? That's so it feels like it's the cause, right? But the truth of the matter is that the cause of it is newness. And then obviously you're attracted to that person physically too, right? But the newness was a catalyst. If you had known that person, maybe you won't feel that level of attraction.
Right.
That level of attraction. So it's not exactly a symptom if you're meeting the person for the first time, but it is a symptom of newness, right? But especially when you've already been in a relationship.
Right.
Maintaining attraction in that relationship is a symptom of a lot.
Right.
Dynamics of your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on with your relationship?
Mm-hmm.
When I say relationship, it takes two.
Right.
Right. So now when we're talking with respect to you, we're talking about the other person. How does that other person see you? You know? So it's a little bit tricky there. Is it a symptom? Or is it attraction is always a symptom of either newness, like it's exciting, or or listen, I treat you so well in his needs or her needs, the book by I forgot his name, they call it something else. I think love something, but in 5 love languages they call it love tank. One of them call it love tank, the other one call it love something. Basically, you're feeling it. You're always feeling it, right? Because you're gonna find it. You're gonna find it. You're gonna need that. You're gonna need that love tank that you're feeling. I say you go into a relationship to give, because you're actually filling a love tank. Because there's gonna be moments in life crisis, things are gonna happen. That naturally you're just not in the mood.
Right.
Because remember, there's no newness anymore.
Right.
This is just me and you now in this world that we've chosen to be together, right? Whatever is in that love tank is gonna be useful in those moments.
Yeah, because oftentimes you will see people just be numb.
Yep.
They might be able to sustain it until their kids leave the nest. Once the kids are gone, then you now be hearing, oh, we're filing for divorce. Oh no. Baba Lagbaja has moved to Malaysia. Mama Lagbaja is in China. Like, okay, what is going on here? Because they can't sustain that relationship.
Yeah,
because there's no more attraction in the relationship. Yeah,
we're going to talk about all of that too. The idea of you poured all that energy into your children, but now the children, were you pouring energy into your children, or you were taking from them? That's a question, that we need to have. Were you pouring energy into them, or you were taking from them? You were receiving from them as well. Because children, there's a sense of accomplishment. That you have. Let me ask you this question, babe. Here's this question: does attraction fade in marriage?
Yes. Yes, attraction can fade in marriage if you're not aware of it. If you are aware, it won't fade. But if you are just there thinking it's gonna just be there by itself,
right?
No. It's gonna fail. It's gonna fade. I mean, it's gonna fade, and it's gonna be gradually. Fade. Yeah, it does. Attraction is something that you have to consider. Like Lillian said, you have to be committed.
Right.
When you are committed to something, whatever you're committed to, that attraction will never leave. Because you're committed to filling that love tank. You're committed to, what? This is what my spouse loves. Even though I'm tired right now, let me just take a minute to do this. Even if it's just a minute, even if it's just 5 minutes of your time, you put into that, and that attraction will never fade away. But if you don't, it becomes complacent.
Right. So at some point, you're gonna need to fill your love tank. You're gonna have to be deliberate about this whole thing.
That's what I'm saying. You have to be aware.
Right.
When we're not aware, if we don't know what we are doing, we're not gonna do it right. But we know that we do this, we do that, we can achieve this result, and we keep doing it.
Yeah.
It might not be new, but it's gonna be there.
Right.
Because we know how to make each other feel good about, make each other feel good, basically.
Right. So there's a driving force. There are driving forces beyond us, and that's the part that
things happening in your life.
Yeah, that's the part that a lot of people don't want to admit. There are driving forces. There are things that make me love you. There are things that make me stay in love with you. That's beyond me, right? So my responsibility is to learn what those things are, so I can reverse engineer when those bad moods comes. When that moment comes in, when I don't feel like, I'm just not in the mood. We all go through that, right? It's my responsibility to learn what made me kick when I was in the mood, and learn how to reverse that, engineer that back into my relationship,
right?
So I can get attracted. Because again, it's going to drain again sometimes, and it's a back and forth like that,
right?
All right. So,
but I like to compare it, and I know people, I don't compare this to. I like to compare it to your job or your career, something that you know you're passionate about. Even when you're not in the mood, you still find yourself doing these things because that's what you got to do. So when you start to treat your marriage like, this is what I have to do.
When you know that,
my marriage,
when
I
I
want
drink
to be
water,
happy.
when I know that when I drink water, my mouth doesn't get dry. When I don't feel like drinking water, I walk my way to the water fountain and
you
drink
still
some
drink
water.
it because you know the benefit of it. This is the same thing you have to do with your marriage. You have to be deliberate.
I just passed out on my own face.
You can't just you can't just think that it's going to be the same way it is from the get-go, and you're just sitting down there not doing anything.
Yes. So it's very easy to get into a place where you say, I'm just not feeling it. I don't feel attracted to her. Some people say, well, she doesn't clean up. Well, then that's actually easier than not feeling, because you can be you can have a conversation about that. Very tough conversation to have.
But that's very sensitive. So instead of saying, babe, you just don't clean up, you're just dirty.
Right.
How about, babe, how can I help you?
The thing is that even that's offensive. Even that.
No. How about you start off?
How?
Start cleaning something. I think a rational, responsible person will get the bait and be like, you know what? Let me help you out. If you don't have a selfish spouse, if you have a selfish spouse,
no, I'm talking about if
they will ignore
let's
you.
say she smells down there.
You say let's jump inside the shower. Let's shower.
Let's talk about this. We're going to come back to that. We promise.
Oh, you go to the doctor.
We're going to come back to the sexual aspect of this. Okay. Idea of date night in the African community.
Yes.
Are you suggesting it, or you are saying it's...
No, I think she's saying a good idea is
to keep it burning. Okay.
Date night. And I agree with that. Date nights are very, very compulsory. I think
who should initiate date night? That's the question.
I don't think it matters who initiates it. But as long as the two of you go on a date.
Does it work for every couple?
Well, I don't know if it works for every couple, but it works for us. So I love date night. It gives me an idea.
When's the last time we went on a date night?
Before the pandemic, thanks to the pandemic.
Coffee one night. Sorry.
Shut everything down. But we were deliberately going to date nights every week. We find new things.
Well, we deliberate, or I just wanted to hang out with you. Those are two different things. And it's very.
I would want to think that you are being deliberate. You want to hang out with me.
You think so?
You could hang out with me in this house without taking me out on a date. You can hang out with me here.
Let me say like this.
To say, you know what? Let me take her to blah 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 to hang out. That's an effort.
That's very interesting. Let me say it like
this. It's an effort.
Let me say it like this. There are some things that I found out the idea that marriage is work simply because it is work. Don't get me wrong.
If you don't tell people marriage is work,
don't get me wrong.
Not do anything.
But let's keep the topic in one lane, right?
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I frown at it.
Yeah. Why?
Because I don't like the idea of marriage being work. I like it being work by default because there's benefit for me nurturing my relationships, and I love those benefits, and that's the reason why it's kind of like I love working from home for the most part. So I put in work.
Okay.
To make sure that I work from home.
If you're a lazy person, there's no way you can work from home, because how are you gonna get off your ass? And you have to discipline yourself and say, you know what, I love what I do.
What's the benefit? What's the benefit for working from home for me in particular? The benefit for working from home for me in particular is because I'm lazy in other aspects of life, in terms of getting up 6 o'clock in the morning, which I have to do sometimes when I have outside projects.
Yes.
5 o'clock, getting up 6 in the morning.
You prefer it. You prefer.
I prefer having the choice,
the
option of not having to be in that life.
Yeah.
Right. I like the option. Like I have a project now coming up. I have the option of saying I don't want to go to that project. Right. I like that option. That's a benefit for me. So I put in work inside to make sure I don't depend on that. So when we bring that into marriage now, when my wife is smiling at me and she's happy and she feels free, that gives me some kind of fulfillment, right? So taking her out, right, and taking her to a quick dinner, right, let's catch a lunch, right? Doing that every now and then, it's not work for me.
But it's hard for some people.
Okay.
It's very, very hard. Look, when it comes to your marriage, it's going to require patience, work, and effort. Because anything that is good in life, that is worth it in life, takes work.
Okay, so I agree with that. Anything that's worthwhile in life takes work. So some people's marriage is hard. Well, right, like life, right? Like life, like anything that's worthwhile,
yes,
right?
Yes.
But you do it because of the benefit. And those benefits is what I like to mention. Before we leave topic, we're talking about heart of attraction, right? We're talking about heart of attraction. So, and this is a good point. Like, can you spice things up by going on a date? It depends.
It depends on where your relationship
It depends on where your relationship is. You should, when everything is good, that's the best time to make sure you're hanging out.
Yes.
You go on lunch dates.
Yes.
If you can afford it, do some travel.
Yes.
If you can't afford it, work on affording it so you can do some travel, because that will make you a lot of different.
Yes.
A lot of differences, right? That's in the English, right? Doesn't matter. But
it'll make it easier.
That will make things easier. Because again, newness, it correlates with attraction.
Yes.
If you're just in the same house, you're stuck, you come back there every day and you do that, that's basically less newness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because for most people, when things are stagnant, I don't even think it's for most people. It's for human beings.
For everybody.
Period.
We all get bored.
When things are stagnant, you feel bored, you feel like, oh my God, you just want to get out of it.
Yep.
So date nights, to me, I feel like it's the best thing ever you could do for your marriage. The idea that people get married and they forget to date each other sounds so ridiculous to me.
Right.
Even by the time we got married,
well, it's not ridiculous. What do you mean?
Wait, because me, when I was getting into marriage, I always thought we were gonna be boyfriend girlfriend.
It's easier to say.
That's what I expected. Okay, and you used to call me my girlfriend, even after we were married.
Yes,
but
not because I was hiding it.
But you weren't doing the boyfriend things anymore.
Yeah, because you became the homie. Let's continue here.
See what I mean? And I'm in my head expecting that Omar will just be dating for the rest of our life. We're just not that type of couple.
Well, here it's very, very important that we always point it out to people that it's not a matter of right and wrong. It's a matter of what do you want in your relationship.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to.
Agree.
You're not wrong for becoming complacent and you start treating your wife like a homie, and then now she's taking offense to that without even knowing she's doing that.
It's natural.
It's not wrong. It's just something that will happen. Let's get into some of the points that I wanted to point out here. So so it is a fact that attraction does fade in marriage because it's natural for it to fade because newness is fading. So you have to be deliberate about how you're going to keep things spicy.
Right.
Now, we also just talked about why does attraction fade in marriage? What causes loss of attraction? We just kind of mentioned that, but let me just pull out some. Yeah, go ahead.
Like I said, when things are stagnant.
When it feels stagnant.
Yes.
Yeah.
When
but things are not necessarily stagnant.
When it feels stagnant.
It just feels stagnant.
When you're going through financial stress.
Let's give an example at this point. For me, things never felt stagnant because I'm busy with business and I'm always on the go. And I'm engaged with every little details of that business. And there's a lot of details. And that consumes me.
Yeah, right? That's for you.
For me.
Okay, bro.
For me. So now it's very important to point that out so that when you do approach your spouse, you don't approach from a place of they're just trying to be wicked to you. You need to understand that it depends
they are whining.
You need to approach from a standpoint of he just missed it.
Yes.
He just didn't know that I'm feeling that way.
Right.
First step is communicate that and then see how you can add and help with spicing things up without making it fully his responsibility. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel like the conversations need to be had because people don't have the conversations. And then when you don't have the conversations, you can't read my mind. I can't read your mind. I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you how I feel. Or you have to have that conversation. Maybe give yourselves time and say, you know what, let's talk about where we are, how you feeling. Let's do this. What are your plans? What do you want to do for the summer? Let's do this. You know, you have to have those conversations. If not, one person will be resenting the other for not knowing what the person needs at that time.
I have a question for you, Ben. Did you and this person have a meeting?
Oh,
she said that's where communication comes in. Discuss what will work and won't work.
Abi, she's a woman, so she can relate.
All right.
Because this is a conversation.
What's that supposed to mean? Men don't think
I'm
about
telling you, a lot of women are suffering when it comes to this situation. Men are neglecting their wives.
Well, when you communicate,
they are not
and
doing
I can't tell
it
you, uncle.
Knowingly. That's because you don't want to hear.
That's that wickedness. Her mind goes through. I just want to be wicked. I'm just deliberately not want to hear you.
If I'm communicating to you and you're not listening, look, there is a adage out there that says men don't listen, women don't lie. Okay, women can exaggerate, but there's no lie in what they are saying. But men,
exaggeration is a form of lie, but go ahead.
Men have to learn to listen to their women. When we're looking for that emotional connection, like for example, when me and you, when we take that walk every day, every evening, I love those walks.
Okay. I love them too.
Now, when we're walking, when we're walking. Now, for you now to be on and you're chatting, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that connection. I'm bonding with you. This is what women want. Is a time with their spouse. Okay. Not time for you to now, I'm hanging out with you, but I'm on my laptop doing something. That's not hanging out. You're not really there. It could be hangout. No, baby.
It could be hangout.
No, baby. No. When you're hanging out with me,
what about my own perception of all this?
That's your perception. This is mine that I'm talking about.
Okay.
Let's
just see it as that then.
On us, right. Not be doing work on the side, because you're already a workaholic. You have to know that you do work a lot. Right. So when that time comes, oh babe, we're going on a date. I appreciate it every time you do that. I love it.
I didn't call it date. I just want to hang out with my wife. I didn't call it date.
Well, I call it a date.
It's all this.
I love it.
It's all this. There's a lot of. I think one of the things that men kick against, just let me speak from a man's standpoint right now, is when it becomes rules. Just like women don't like being put in a position where she's trying to obey rules, submit, respect, all this craziness, right? There's a place that a man goes to where it feels like rules, right? And then their ego start getting rubbed off the wrong way.
Oh, messed up.
When he sees it as, no, that's my queen. Yeah, of course I'm going to take my queen out every now and then to make her feel good. Because when she feels good, I feel good. See, it's the same shit. It's just how it's painted that makes all the difference.
Some men don't do that at all.
I agree.
Okay, you be shocked.
When we communicate to those men so they can do more of it, it's very important to make them also feel like it's not a chore.
Isn't that what I said in the beginning, that's an effort? The fact that you take the time out to plan a date for us,
right?
That makes me feel good. I didn't ask for it.
We need to focus on the make you feel good part.
Okay, I agree.
There's a place when people are talking about this where they refuse to focus on the make you feel good part. They're just very good. They're very quick to throw out the rule. You must take your wife out on a date every other 2 weeks. This is the feelings matter. In relationships, this is the part where it's like, oh, they shoot me.
By the way, men don't like to be told what to do. And
women like that?
No.
Okay.
Let me finish. Look, don't go for my jugular.
Hey,
men don't like to be told what to do. That could make them lose attraction for you.
Right. So thanks for bringing it back to attention.
So we all have to learn the art of seduction.
Yes.
You have to know
your man.
You're jumping. You have to know your man. You have to know what works, and you have to play that game properly. Yes, it's a game. Yeah. You have to play it very well to get what you want.
You're good. When I say jumping, I was saying Yoruba English. I was saying you're moving ahead of ourselves. So let's see what Lilian is saying. So what causes? No, we already covered that.
Okay.
All right. So let's see what causes loss of attraction. Resentment will cause loss of attraction.
Yes, that's real.
What is resentment? When you have something against your spouse,
yes,
and you're not saying it,
and you're not speaking it out,
or you're not feeling heard, You may be saying
you
it,
could be saying it and they're not
hearing you.
Yeah.
That, resentment. So you have to do everything in your power to make sure that resentment is a lot of energy. It occupies a big space in your relationship. And if you don't address those things, guess what? You either have resentment or you have attraction.
Some women will be like, you know what? But I tell him all the time, he doesn't even listen to me, doesn't even make time. Oh, even worse, he's not even available.
Right. So communication.
He doesn't even come home.
So communications is not all words. That's just one aspect of it. And it only works maybe by the second time. By the time you're saying the same thing third time,
you become
there's something called banner blindness in marketing, meaning that word has no more meaning. I can now predict that you're about to say that. Like I can't hear you because you're saying the same thing and you're also enabling me not hearing it, because again, you start hearing the same thing over and over again. Even like if you turn on music at night when you're sleeping, you sleep. Because you forget that sound is because it's repetitive, right? It's the same thing when you see the same banner and you're traveling along the same road every day. Eventually, you won't see that banner any longer.
Fact.
Right? So if you're using words, if your idea of communication is just words, there's a point you get to that it becomes less effective. There are other forms of communication.
Yeah.
Okay. Pain and pleasure is a big form of communication. There's something that person is enjoying that makes them not hear you.
This thing is like a game. You have to know what your spouse really values.
Yeah.
They want something from you as well.
Yes.
You got to use that to get what you want.
To get your point across.
Yeah.
And the idea that they're not hearing you, you're right. They're not hearing you, but you're still responsible for making sure you communicate. And remember that communication is not just all words. Sometimes it's about removing yourself. It's about removing that thing that they're enjoying that makes them continue that bad behavior, because we only respond to pain and pleasure. And that's why I also mentioned earlier that that part where you said it makes you feel good, that's pleasure for me as a man, because it rubs my ego up in a good way. It strokes my ego.
Yeah.
Right. And that part will make me do the right thing.
Right.
But if you focus on the part where I have to do work, work is painful. Not work itself. Work is work in the very natural sense of it is a blessing that you can work. Because go and ask people that in hospital, right? But when it comes down to feelings, and we're talking with respect to marriage, you say marriage is work. A lot of people run away from that because it's scary.
No.
Because it feels scary.
Well, that's why they have to understand. You don't go into, like most people, we go into marriage, we don't know what we are getting into. But in today's world, I feel like people should just educate themselves about that.
Just like everything that's worthwhile, what you would do is educate yourself, respect marriage and relationships. You benefit from them.
Right.
We're social beings. We love our relationships. So don't assume you know everything about relationships and marriage. Learn everything you can learn about it. And that's why it's very important to be here every Friday at 5 p.m. It's like when we talk about this topic, there are some people that just see this topic, they see us post it, and they just like, I guess one of those things. They don't value it. You know why? Because they
don't need it yet.
They haven't been through the pain of what it looks like.
Sometimes you have to be able to relate.
Exactly.
You need to be able to connect to
and
something.
The best way for human beings to relate is pain, pleasure. That's what makes them relate to anything, So that's very important. So let's go on to the next thing that causes complacency, right?
Yeah, that's real.
So when you start taking each other for granted, it's real. Once the newness is gone, I start treating her like the homie, right? Because actually that's pleasurable. But then she start feeling the pain because she's feeling like I'm taking her for granted. Depending on what she does, depending on the dynamics of her life.
You're right.
If she's a 9-to-5 person and I'm a non-95 person, that means I work 24/7. That means I'm engaged. My brain is engaged. I have to also, just as much as I'm deliberately have to learn how that affects my relationship, she also needs to understand the other side of it. And when everything else fails, the man must take leadership and understand that, you know what? I cannot afford to take my wife for granted.
Yes.
Or make her feel like I'm taking her for granted.
Yeah.
That's what complacency is. See it, finish it.
See finish.
Okay, see finish.
Okay.
I said see it, finish it. See finish.
See finish.
Basically, there's nothing new. So you take it for granted, and it's natural. It's not wrong or right. We all get bored. We all want newness, and the way we move in the direction of newness sometimes can be selfish. It can be narcissistic.
Yes.
You have to remember that you're in a relationship with another entire human being. Okay, your religion doesn't matter, your culture doesn't matter. They get bored too. They also will feel hurt too if you take them for granted. And if she feels hurt, she's going to end up hurting you, because hurt people
Fact.
indirectly or directly. So you have to understand these things and then put some effort. I know you don't like the word effort, but remember there's big benefit on the end of it, right? You have to put some effort in making sure that person doesn't feel that way. All right. So another thing that causes low attraction is insecurities, low self-worth and esteem. That will cause low attraction. Okay.
Yes.
If you're coming off to your spouse as you're needy,
clingy,
you will drain that other human being.
You cannot be by yourself. You have to,
Yeah.
You've become a leech.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's suffocating.
Yes. You will smother that person to death because they're just a human being. That's it. I was listening to another show earlier and she said, stop all this religious stuff. Let's just be human beings. Human beings need to be nurtured. Okay.
Fact.
It doesn't matter if you're a man or woman.
Yes.
Okay. That relationship has to be nurtured, or it will just fail because you're either giving into it or you're taking away from it.
Yes.
And if all you do is take away from it, even when you say, I don't bother her, I don't really bother him, you are taking away from it because they're being drained because you're still in a relationship with them. And if you become naive about that relationship will suffer. It's only a matter of time. All right. And energy, fantasies about someone else. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So some people like to say, oh, she's doing that because she's thinking about somebody. Yes, it's possible, but it's not always that. Okay. But it's very possible. But I would say consider that. It's possible that a person is fantasizing about another person. And if they're fantasizing about another person, or you already caught some emails or text messages, the right thing to do is not overreact, because you will just push them further away to that
person's arms.
That's what's going to happen.
Yes.
So the best thing to do is...
You can't have a panic attack and freak out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So if this happened to you, we're going to talk about other solutions, but if this happened to you and you already caught this person and they're fantasizing about other person, they have an emotional affair, or they're actually having full-blown affair with another person,
right,
you can't afford to overreact if you still want this person. What I would say is work on yourself, because you may not even want this person anymore. Okay, but you can't determine that off of overreaction.
Yeah,
you need to work on yourself. Make sure that this is what you want, or you don't want that. And if that's not what you want, there are ways to honorably bow out of a situation if it's become a matter of infidelity, emotional. But energy is neither created nor destroyed. If she's not giving it into you, or he's not giving it into you, he's spending it on something. It doesn't have to be another human being.
But that's the place where people come in. But that's not right. It shouldn't be that way.
Well, we're not talking about right and wrong.
But it is that way. So what are we going to do about the situation?
Exactly.
Right,
exactly.
We got to be solution oriented.
Yes.
Instead of just destroying everything.
Yeah. And you're going to destroy everything if you react, because again, reaction just never good. Like reaction. When I say reaction, I mean overreaction, meaning you lost your cool. Kind of like what Vado did.
Right? Choke somebody.
Yeah, start choking somebody because they hurt you. Like, no, that's not going to be an excuse. You're now assaulting a person. Okay. Being needy, insecurity is not sexy for women. It puts both sides.
Men is even worse.
And it's worse. It's worse when the man is the needy one.
Oh my God.
Okay, because then you have a woman start saying, like, come on, like
get your life together.
Yeah,
what's going on here?
Man,
are you not busy?
Don't you have a job to do or something?
Don't you have a job or something? Right. Yes.
But on the flip side, women that are needy too can become a turnoff. Which is why you want to make sure you're tapped into your personal purpose in life.
Right.
Because that milks quite a decent amount of energy. And that's very necessary for a healthy relationship.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so that's the other cause of energy is basically leaking through somewhere else. That person is enjoying attention from something else or someone else.
Right.
It could be either of the two. How do you find out? Well, I would say if you have enough energy to know that something is draining, that's probably another reason why they're not attracted to you right now. You probably have been coming off as needy, right? So the best way is to remove yourself, okay, emotionally first. Like you're probably giving too much energy and emotions into that situation. When you remove it, basically you basically get on the other side of being predictable, okay? Because you probably have been acting again needy. You're showing up. You're saying you don't spend time with me. You don't do that. You're doing that, and it's worse. Like I said, coming from a man, you don't spend time. We're not. No, how about remove yourself? But
let that person
miss you a little bit, right? That will throw them off, and it's only a matter of time. If they don't belong in a relationship with you, they will excuse themselves, and just try your best, because it's very hard. Try your best to maintain your cool through that process.
And when we say remove yourself, it doesn't mean that you should actually leave the
That's
house.
why I said emotionally first.
It means you should just be busy with yourself.
Yes.
Spend so much time with yourself that you
connect with your personal purpose.
Yeah,
Connect with your. You're probably disconnected from your personal purpose, and you probably have too much energy now that you're giving into that person, and you're smothering that person. Because again, people don't really quit on relationship with you unless you chase them away.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a
Somehow,
world
some
where
way,
people are now taking their spouse's phone and bugging it and putting some kind of, some app that is, I don't know, some crazy stuff.
If you're bugging
going on.
So let's talk about that. Bugging your spouse's phone, right?
That's crazy.
Like hacking it and getting in there, and the reason why you're doing it because you already felt insecure.
Yeah.
Right? Insecurity. We all have it, but it's 100% destructive.
It is
destructive.
Okay.
All right. So Tony on Marriage Bootcamp with Corrupt,
right,
was digging through the phone. I think that was a preview for next week. See
People
how that girl is feeling.
People will take their spouse finger while they're sleeping
and start opening the phone. It's because a person feels insecure.
And you will find what you're looking for. I don't care.
Well, you'll find something that will offend you. You'll find something that will offend you because your mind is already negative too. When you mix that together with something that's not all the way 100% right, at least in your perception, it's just terrible. It's going to create terrible. But anyway.
And some people put trackers on their spouses' cars and stuff like that. That is so extreme.
Yeah.
Like, no.
So all of that happens once there's obviously the marriage or the relationship is in a terrible place for all that to start going on already, Then another thing that causes low attraction is not feeling free. If you are in a relationship with a person and your idea of the relationship is just rules, boundaries. Listen, I'm not saying boundaries are bad. We talked about this in Insecurities, right? I'm just saying if that's your language,
you need a
if
balance.
you're always talking about we should set boundaries, listen, that's going to come off as rule, as bondage. And you probably will say, but she should know she's in a marriage. You're right, but she doesn't. She feels terrible. She feels like she's in a prison yard. And that's exactly what I'm saying. She should know she's in marriage. You are absolutely right again too. But she feels worse. She feels like she's in a prison yard, or he feels like he's in a prison yard, right? So whatever part you're playing in creating that place where a person doesn't feel free in the relationship, it's just bad,
And you know what? This pandemic made it real for a lot of relationships. I feel like this is the time that a lot of relationships got tested, because now people don't have work bay to run to, or friendships at their job to run to.
There's no escape.
Now you got to deal with that situation that you've been running from. So you might as well put in the work, learn something new, and fix this so you can benefit from it.
Another thing that causes low attraction is pride.
Yeah, pride is a bastard sometimes.
I like the idea that you're proud of yourself, that you have a healthy amount of pride and ego, because that can
that's attractive.
It can create a blurry line between confidence, which is attraction. Confidence is attractive, right? We all get attracted to a person that acts like they don't need us, basically, right? That's the confidence that we are attracted to in that person, right? But that can there's a blurry line between that. Once you're in a relationship with the person already, there's a blurry line between that and pride. When you can't back down, if your wife fell in love with you because you're very strong on your opinion when you're arguing, And that was one of the things she fell in love with
Oh
because
my
you're a
God.
confident guy and everyone listened to you. Well,
She might just hate you for the same reason.
it's only a matter of time before she starts building resentment if she can't get a word in or you don't let her get by.
Yes.
Or everything is about right and wrong.
Mhm.
Everything is about, but you're wrong.
Or
but that
this-
doesn't make
or
sense.
This is how we should be. Like
Yes, it's only a matter of time. And that's just your pride at play. You don't know how to, you think you're losing power when you back off a little bit.
Yeah.
That to you is like losing your strength, your power, you know. I'm supposed to see that as a strength.
Yeah, that's actually a strength
Knowing
when you back down.
Yeah, knowing when to say, you know what, that's what you feel.
It's okay.
All right. You don't need validation,
Mm.
right? You don't need validation. Now, from a woman's standpoint, if you, it's very common when it comes to I'm sorry.
Mhm.
You don't know how to say I'm sorry. You
Mhm.
just don't know when to say, babe,
Mhm.
because your pride is just that at that level
You
where
use
you can't,
oboju, you just
can't
use
find yourself doing
style
that.
to find your way back to your spouse instead
Yes.
of apologizing.
Men do get turned off. Eventually, he will get turned off. The worst case scenario is that he won't be able to, you know, he will stay in that relationship with you and just be having an affair outside, right? Which means you guys are probably living a miserable life as roommates, right?
Yeah.
So let's get into this other question. Don't forget to subscribe if you're brand new here. When attraction fades in marriage, what to do? You've been saying that. I was going there.
Well,
How to get the attraction back, rekindle attraction in a marriage, how to increase attraction in marriage. These are all similar questions. What are the first things that comes to your mind?
comes to my mind is
It's dead. We feel like roommates now. We feel like we go like straight 2 weeks sometimes without having sex. I know some people say, but that's not bad.
What's the situation?
Make sure it's not bad with your spouse first before you say that.
Yeah, it depends on everybody's situation.
That's why I said make sure that you're like
Some
people use that as the first thing people say is that it depends. No relationship is like there's some core things that are very similar in every relationship. There's some core things that's just the same in every
There's
relationship.
a reason why you're not having sex with your partner, and you're just having it twice to 3 times in 3 months, or twice a month.
I said
there's no attraction now. Attraction is reduced.
It's actually a very common thing that people that go straight 1 week without having sex, it's not because she's on a period. It's not. It's very common thing for them
I'm
to
tired.
be
They say I'm
defensive.
tired.
No. That's being obvious part. That's even
Oh,
that's
we work so hard.
No, not that. They say this. I'm talking about the woke ones.
Oh,
I'm not talking about the ones that
they work.
I'm talking about the woke ones. The woke ones are very quick to say, but not all marriages are equal. Like there's no one size fits all. It's their quick go-to.
Okay.
The truth is that there are some core things.
Yeah,
that are
but
very
before
common
they
in
got
relationships.
married, they used to have sex like rabbits. So what changed?
Yeah.
I think that's the question I would have loved to ask those woke ones. At some point, how many times did you have sex a week? If you can tell me, oh, we have sex like 3 to 4 times, or maybe if you tell me once in a month, maybe then I'll accept that. Oh, that's just how you guys are. But if you used to have sex like rabbits, and all of a sudden you don't have time to have sex, you have to remember that. I mean, you have to understand that whatever is important in your life, you make time for it. I don't care how much work you do. I don't care how.
But you have to know that it's important.
Tired you are.
It's
It's very, very important
what if
to
you
make time
feel?
for
I'm
it.
talking about people that actually feel it's not important. Not all marriages.
But it was important at some point.
No, they feel like it just like
It's
what are you
okay
talking about?
for sex
that's
to decline in a marriage.
We're talking about this moment right now. We're talking right now. They are woke. They came on our show right now, and they heard somebody say, "How often should you have sex in a marriage?" And their first go-to knee-jerk reaction talk is
3 to.
it depends on the marriage. That's the first thing.
Oh, they
that
say it depends on couple to couple.
It depends on couple to couple. It just depends. It's their first go-to. It's a defense mechanism for some people, not all. It's a defense mechanism for some. They're justifying that it's okay to go as long as you want, as long as you are still married. It just depends on the marriage. No, there's a place it gets to, is what I'm saying. where you know that this is not healthy.
It's not healthy.
How do you find that out? The first step is make sure your spouse, because some people are assuming that they've never had this conversation with their spouse. Make sure your spouse is okay going the whole week, because a lot of these people's spouse are complaining that there's no enough affection or intimacy in their marriage.
That's true.
But when they appear on a show like this by themselves, they're very quick to say it depends on the marriage. No, it doesn't depend on the marriage when it gets to a certain point. If you go straight 2 weeks and it's a common thing in your marriage and nobody is sick, it's not medical.
It's not medical.
It's not she's on her period. I guarantee you one of you two is not happy with that. The only thing is that maybe you haven't had the conversation. Now, if you've had the conversation and you say, no, I'm good, or we both don't like it, I'm not saying that's not possible, but it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible.
I mean, I know someone
that's the hard part to go
from
to.
work that said she only has sex with her husband once a month, and there's nothing he can do about it. That's just what it's gonna be. And
wait, what's the rest of the conversation? Is that what she wants?
That's what that's not what the spouse wants, but this is what she said to herself.
Exactly.
Like, that's just what she has to offer, and that's what it is. And I remember looking at her like, okay, something's off here. Like, why would you just want to have?
No, but did she acknowledge that the husband wants more?
She did. She
said that's a problem brewing up.
She said she's not going to give him more than once a month.
That's a problem brewing up. It's only a matter of time.
And she didn't say it that way. She was like, that's all she can give. You should know that by now.
Well, bad things happen to good people. She doesn't have to see it that way. She could be a very good person, by the way. She doesn't have to see it that way. It's going to creep up on her. But maybe dude is not really communicating too. Maybe dude doesn't have game. Because again, another thing about attraction is that you have to have game. Even after you marry that person.
I think people miss that.
When they were talking about the guy that proposed, to me, I saw that as a moment to practice to practice seduction. The girl said, why are you not kneeling down? If you really want that girl, like, of course I'm about to kneel down. Yeah. It's a moment to seduce her. But he got caught up in his pride.
He got caught up in his feelings.
Right.
The guy behind the camera kept saying, kneel down now. Just do it.
But you know, my friends that are quote unquote traditional, which I don't think is traditional, it's just lack of emotional intelligence. It's not traditional for you to feel that all of this. No, it's lack of emotional intelligence. This is when it becomes lack of emotional intelligence. When you have zero respect for how the other person feels, that's when it becomes lack of emotional intelligence. We're not talking about how you feel. We know you're traditional, but when you want a person, you come with respect to where they're coming from.
Yes.
If you were about to get with an American person,
yes,
the right thing to do is learn how they do things.
Yes.
And then you seduce them like that. Right? And if you don't do that, maybe you got lucky because the person was that much attracted to you in the beginning. It's only a matter of time before you start having problems. And then that person will require you to learn their own love language and reciprocate accordingly, because if you don't, you will drain that person.
Right.
So the easy part is to say, oh yeah, it depends. Oh, 2 or 3 times. No, that's easy. It depends. It really does depend. But now it depends, a common thing coming from woke people. Okay, let's take it a little bit further. What point, for an average couple, does it become a problem? Does it become problematic to not have regular sex? At some point, it becomes a problem for everyone.
Yes.
You know. So Dami Speaks says new subscriber from DMV
Vlogs.
Thank you, Dami, for stopping by.
Hey,
Thank
Dami,
you so much.
You're my namesake.
Yeah. So I love this topic.
Thank you.
All right. So let's get into a little bit. We covered some right there, right? So let's get into how to rekindle, right? Listen.
You have to listen.
And listen doesn't stop at listening.
I have a friend that says that listen.
You know, he or she has to feel heard. But especially if it's a woman, she needs to feel heard. Okay? She needs to feel heard. If she doesn't feel heard, that the opposite, resentment. Because again, she doesn't feel like she has an input. Right? Yes. And it may seem like I'm saying this on the standpoint of men to women all the time. But I really feel like it's easier for a man who understands seduction to maintain attraction in that marriage. I do feel that way. Okay. Now, if you're a woman and you feel like attraction is already drained out in your marriage and you don't know what to do, how does listening and feeling heard translate to a man? It's a man's ego.
Okay. You have to know how to massage that ego.
Yeah, because you did the same thing when you guys were dating. Like I said earlier, it shouldn't stop, but it does stop, and it's not your fault that it stopped. It's just natural thing, human beings. But now that you know, his ego is a fragile thing. Yeah, he thinks it's logical, and then his balls are in your hands. Okay, but you need to know that. Okay, you need to know that sometimes he needs to get his point in, right? But there's something about him that there's a button, right? And they
call it the mumu button.
He has a mumu button.
They have to have,
that mumu button, right? That mumu button is basically your seduction tool.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's your seduction tool. And seduction sounds terrible to a lot of people. It sounds oh yeah, it sounds like some people equate it to manipulation.
Oh,
well, whatever you want to call it. What I'm saying is that if you want a happy marriage, a happy relationship, right? In the long run, somebody's gonna have to learn how to seduce somebody inside of marriage because you did that in the beginning. So what makes you think? You did that. You dressed up well when I came to pick you up to go to movies, to go to a concert in Connecticut. Did you not? Did you not look at yourself multiple times in the mirror to make sure?
I was like,
so we're still the same human beings, right?
Yes. So
now if you get complacent and you just say you just want to get reckless, right? Whatever comes out of that day is the effect too.
Unfortunately, it is.
That's just what it is.
And I have to say this because I have a friend that actually didn't understand that. So she's a very beautiful, good-looking body, is like all set, And anytime she goes out, she gets guys like easy, but she can't maintain them. Like, they end up leaving. And she asked me one day, why? And I was like, how do you get them?
Yeah.
When she's going out, she's looking like a sex goddess.
Yeah.
But then the minute she starts dating them, she switches to joggers and t-shirts. Yep. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. You can't get a guy with all your, whatever you got going on and then become a slob in a relationship. You have to keep that up, especially if you have a guy that will give you money to go get your nails done. They do that. They're like, get your nails done, get your hair done. They cater to you.
Yeah.
So what makes you feel like you get in a relationship and then you can become the homie? That's why they leave.
Look at my bros here. Who makes the first move, Bradiola?
What's Bradiola?
Bradiola Kotau.
Hey, that's my bros.
Who makes the first move? If all else fails, the man should always make the first move. Make the first move is confidence, It's just confidence, and that's a very attractive thing to women, especially fine women. They like when you make the first move. It's bigger than just you making the first move. It's confidence, is feeling feeling secured, is feeling safe. The guy will, if a woman walks up to you because you are just too fine and she toasted you, that's not always a good thing. Because that behavior, in case you like that person or you just didn't make the first move, eventually that behavior tend to transcend beyond just the beginning.
They will expect you to keep making the move.
The man will expect the woman to keep making,
because
and then it's
one.
resentment later on.
It's like the lion, when he goes and search for his prey, right? If the prey start chasing the lion, it's kind of oxymoronish.
Yeah,
I understand we live in a world that things have changed a little bit, but women still love being chased, and men still naturally likes to chase women.
Now let's take it deeper. Let's talk about sex.
Okay.
So sex in the marriage, who makes the first move? I like it when my woman makes a move. It's sexy, but I'm not delusional. Okay. If that happens over and over again, she will start questioning. Again, remember, this is psychology, right? She will start questioning, why is it that I'm making the first move all the time? See, if I'm making the first move and I'm a man, again, no one size fits all with this.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we still live in that kind of society, right? If I'm making the first move all the time, worst case scenario is that I will feel tired of making the move, right? And then at some point she's going to sense that it's been a minute because she's used to predicting me, but all of a sudden I'm unpredictable, and that's attractive.
I mean, when it comes to that, I know women that have made the first move on their spouse and it has been catastrophic. I don't know, maybe it's the African man thing, or maybe it's because some people still live in Nigeria.
What do you mean catastrophic?
Like they get called ashawo and stuff like that for wanting to make a move on their spouses.
Well, let's balance it.
So when you have a spouse that is not open-minded, what do?
Let's balance it. If the man is asking who makes the first move, there's a good chance he makes the move most of the time.
And he wants a little...
And he's feeling lack thereof. Okay. So what will stroke his ego is for him to feel wanted.
Right.
Once in a while.
Right.
Okay. It's the feeling wanted thing, right? It's always skewed to one side and the other. Okay. That's just natural in most relationships, right? It could be the woman who makes the move all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. It's very natural that it happens like that most of the time. But once in a while, the other side would like to feel wanted. Okay. If that person is not doing, if that's a woman, right, that doesn't make a move ever, good. Game on. It's time to learn how to seduce. And so it's not going to be making physical move. Meaning, I'm going to seduce you in other ways.
So ask me for some. Yes.
I'm gonna basically make it wet without touching you. Because again, if I'm touching you now, that's predictable.
It is.
And predictability is not attractive.
No, it's not.
If I know your every move, like that guy that sleep on the same couch and do this every...
Ew.
Like if I know where you're gonna sit every corner every day, eventually it does affect attraction as well.
It does.
But if we switch it up sometimes, what I tell you, one of the reasons why I took this project, I get the hell out of the house for 1 week at least. I'll come back. Right? It refreshes things. It makes things feel fresh. I said that, right? So there's a lot that happens before we get into the bedroom. The problem with a lot of people is that how do you define making a move? If you making a move is which I do a lot. I don't mind doing that. But right. But the point is that if the woman is in a place where she never makes a move at all, and you will like that, now self-control is needed. Because it takes for you to get because you make the move because you make the move. You like doing that. You're aggressive like that, right? And that's what worked for you guys up to a certain point. But now it's time to pull back, self-control, because it's going to take self-control. How do you go a whole night and not touch her? And pull back a little bit, let her breathe a little bit. The idea of letting her breathe, that's directly correlated to building attraction.
Right.
Because she's going to wonder, what happened?
She can't predict you anymore.
Right. What happened?
Now she's going to be obsessed.
What happened? So...
so for those women that are trying to make moves on their husband and they're getting turned down, what should they do?
She needs to learn seduction other ways, right? So it must be the same. So making a move again, let's define that properly.
I mean,
it can't be the same.
We have our auntie and uncle that when they're in the mood, they're like Shewa. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but every time
if you do, let's use that for example, babe.
That is so funny. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what you get for making fun of.
Oh my God, I can't. Don't mess up my head.
Let's use that for example, baby. If it's Shewa every time, that's gonna get boring.
You think so?
Everything gets boring. That's the point. Everything gets boring. You gotta switch it up every now and then. Switch it up. It's okay to have your own method that works all the time.
Right.
But you gotta switch it up every now and then.
You gotta switch it up.
You gotta switch it up every now and then.
I agree with that.
Do you know the English bracket? Do you know the meaning of symbiotic? What is symbiotic?
I think Brad TK should enlighten us. Nigerian
That's
Oyinbo that you're bringing out there.
that's a biological term, and
I would bring it out for you.
Yeah,
let me check it.
Yeah,
let me
sounds
check that.
right,
That's a
but
new
I have
one.
a feeling that it's when it comes to seduction, it's slightly a little different because again,
Symbiotic.
we're talking about attraction. We're talking about how to rekindle attraction. That's what we're talking about, and there are two ways really. Deep game. Involving interaction between two different organisms living in close. Oh, it has to be kind of mutual.
Close physical association, denoting a mutually beneficial relationship between different people.
Okay, as far as benefits, absolutely. As far as benefit, I think it's the benefit part that makes it symbiotic.
Right.
As far as benefit, absolutely. When it comes to making moves, which I kind of like that phrase, when it comes to making moves, seducing another person, no, symbiotic has to go out the window because we have real problems where people feel unwanted in their relationship. And it's not right and wrong. It's not necessarily because that person is already sleeping with somebody else either.
No, it's
because
not.
some people are very quick to go in that direction.
You're getting it from somewhere.
Maybe you're
else.
getting it from somewhere. No, some people are just like that, and you have to seduce them.
Yeah.
And I would say you have to find the fun in seducing them.
Some people are just that complicit, like numb. It could be
they're just there, especially when we talk about a woman. A woman can easily go into a phase where she's just okay because she's taking care of kids. She has other preoccupied. And when you had that together with the society, that makes it like no, the man should just make the move anyway. How about you make the move by making her make the move? That's what we're talking about here. Seduction. That's what we're talking about. Okay, I'm going to give you some resources because we can't cover all of that, and we're already over time. The second part. We're
over time.
Yeah, we're over time.
My French.
We talked about let me go back to comments here. All right, so we talked about listen. The first one is listen and make the person feel heard. Yeah. If it's a man, you switch that on the head. It's basically the ego. He needs to feel his ego being stroked.
Yep.
He needs to feel like the hero in your relationship. If he doesn't feel like the hero in your relationship, it's only a matter of time. He will feel less than himself.
Don't ask why. That's just how.
It's just the way the brain is set up. Yeah.
This is just how it is.
It's just the way
people
the brain
are
is set
too
up.
busy asking why, but why, fighting the.
I don't mind asking why. I don't mind asking why.
No. Like not just asking why because it's okay to have a conversation, but fighting against that is not going to get you anywhere.
She's saying that your why has to stop at some point. You should just know that some things as human beings. It's just our
natural state.
That's just how we are. A man needs his ego stroked. Even if he's a stay-at-home dad. When you come home and he's finished taking care of the kids, he likes appreciation.
Yes.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Like he may think he likes sex more, but word of affirmation makes him rise in different parts of the body.
Yeah.
Okay? And of course, it's useful to learn that person's love language.
I actually found out that men don't have sex with women that put them down. They just get,
they can't rise. It's a turn off.
Yeah.
It's a turn off for a woman to be so macho and masculine and she wants to be my mother. To a certain point, if it's confidence, there's a point you cross that's no more confident. You're just rude. You're disrespectful. And at that point, you better learn what that is for your man.
Yep.
Because it will hurt. Because you will hurt him and it will hurt you eventually. And I don't mean physically always. The worst part is when it's emotionally, All right. So give and seduce. Give. You go into a relationship to give. We can't stress this enough. Why give and not give and take? Because again, when you put too much focus on take, you will drain that person. Okay?
And when you naturally give, you naturally get.
You will receive.
Yeah.
You will receive.
Get it back.
And if you're not willing to wait on this person until they're willing to give, maybe you're just in the wrong relationship.
Sure.
But focus on giving. If you like this person, focus on giving to them. If they want space, give it to them. If they want affection, give it to them. Try your best. Meet them in the middle. Just give. Whatever that person's idea of whatever they're asking is, try to listen. Again, listen to what that is. Sorry, babe.
Don't touch their head one more time.
Like the girl that said, you're not kneeling down. It's okay for the guy to walk away. If that's a big deal for him, you don't like that girl enough, maybe that was your cue to walk away. But if you want that girl, That's the moment to give her. She wants to look good on camera while she's being
Yes.
proposed to. Kneel down on one knee. What's the big deal? You do that when you're seducing or you're wooing a person anyway. It doesn't matter what tradition in the world. You all do that. The people get argumentative about it because they're stuck on the idea of proposal or Igbo way. It's not about the thing. It's about the deeper sense of what's happening. When a woman says, "Why don't you do this for me?" If you're very quick to go towards your ego,
African man. I don't kneel down.
Listen, I respect it if something messes with your moral compass, who you are. I respect, but make sure that's what's going on. Because sometimes you just lose out because you're being prideful and you're being stupid, you know. So that's just what that is. Now let's talk about, speaking of seduce, right? Do you have anything to add before I go into this?
No, go ahead.
All right. Speaking of seduce, there is fun in seduction. One of the problems with when people hear seduction is like so much work. I got to pick up a book. Listen, let me tell you something. Let me give you an idea of the fun that's in seduction. When you were in high school, okay, and you got the guy that you wanted, the most popular guy, that feeling, like you showed yourself, you look good until you got him. That feeling of that chase is still real, even in a marriage, okay? The only difference now is that you actually have to learn it. You have to learn it as a thing. And when you learn it, it's so much fun when you know that I behaved this way in the past. And now I can do it deliberately and get what I want and serve my partner in the same space. You know, there's a lot of fun in seduction. Everyone that's in a marriage should learn it. Okay? Everything you learn about what love is patient, love is kind, all those things you learn in Galatians, Ephesians, all those things. Those are all seduction tactics.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't overthink beyond yourself. A lot of people overthink this stuff, or they're very quick to discard this kind of things and say, man, get all these gurus and all their nonsense and all this. Life, there's some principles behind how life works. And you just punish yourself by not learning those things. That's what happens. So you get to learn things like characters, different seduction characters. You learn things like anti-seducers, seducer, victims. When people hear victims, so I have to victimize somebody. I mean, somebody was a victim of when you were dressing up and you look like this in the mirror and stuff like that.
Wait, seduction is power, though.
It's what?
It's power.
Yeah. It's power that you can use for both negative and positive. Obviously, you're going to use this for positive to bring attraction back into your marriage. But these are actually skill set that you can actually use to destroy a whole country.
Jesus.
No, it's serious. Okay? It's a serious stuff, right? Separation is part of seduction. How do you pull back?
Yeah.
That's a tactic. Some people say, separation, no, don't do that or in a marriage. You're going to let the devil in. Dude, you're missing it.
The devil is already in.
The devil is already in there. And it's like on a throne.
Because now you're already roommates. What do you think is operating between the two of you if it's not the devil?
Exactly. Yeah, mixed signals. When do you use mixed signals, right? Because it's never black and white. None of this stuff is black and white. It takes practice. That's why it's a art. It's a science, but there's an art to it. Okay? It becomes a science when you become really good with experience, when you become really good at this.
Right.
I'm teaching you guys game. Okay? Nah, seriously.
Game.
It doesn't matter if you're a woman, it works. Okay? And you get what you want, and nobody's gonna get hurt in the process. Okay? And then we're talking about stirring up anxiety. You catch anxiety when the other person, when you start, not to say that's what he was saying, but when he's talked about making the first move on a woman, or who should make the first move, right? The question is an anxiety. The question by itself is anxiety, right? Because you're asking question, there's a level of fear in that process when you're about to make a move on a person, or let's say a woman is getting dressed up, she's about to pick up for a date, but she really wants to win this guy. She would like this guy as a boyfriend already. She's already fantasizing.
Fear of the unknown.
It's fear of the unknown.
Anxiety all the time.
How do you reverse engineer that into your relationship? Right? Because when you catch that anxiety, how do you transfer the anxiety to the other person? That's when you know you're seducing. Because again, I always put my hands under her clothes, right? But she just put my hands and just throw it away like this.
Jesus.
Right? But maybe she didn't even do it intentionally. But basically, I'm predictable. Because if that's a new thing, there's no way she's doing that. She's surprised. If that's a new thing, like let's say she's the only one that's always making move on me. And this one day, every other 9 times, right? and I'll put my hands, she's
She'll be
excited.
excited. Yes.
Because it's new.
It's new. It's a flip.
So in your relationship, in the grand scheme of things beyond sex, how do you stir up anxiety and reverse engineer that back into getting what you want? How do you transfer anxiety to the other person? Because you start with self-control. Start with self-control. You have anxiety. Then the next thing to do is transfer that to the next person. How do you do that without coming off as manipulative, without being annoying, without being aggressive, without even saying a word? I know today is a long one.
Yeah. Excuse me.
But you're enjoying it.
My babies are gonna come down anytime soon and be like, Mommy.
You see? But you're enjoying it.
I am enjoying
kind of. Not as much as take care of your babies, I see. Lead astray. When I say lead astray, some people are like, that's evil. Well, again,
these are game tactics.
You can use this for bad, for evil, or good. Okay. America has used this to destroy the rest of the world over and over. That's why the greatest nation on earth, they use this. Okay. It's applicable in a relationship between a man and a wife or two people. And we do it anyway, unknowingly. You must, again, if you're in a marriage, you must as well learn how it works so that you can use it in your favor to get what you want. So again, what we're talking about is bringing attraction back into your marriage. That's not a bad thing. So are you leading that person astray? No, not in the grand scheme of things, not totally, but sometimes when you're trying to lure a person to be attracted back into the marriage, you have to understand they're just a human being with a human brain in their head. But that's a big topic on its own. Strategic vulnerability. Vulnerability is not always bad. It can be terrible. It can be bad. It can be good. Okay? You can use it to get the other person. It depends on that person. It's with respect to that person. There are certain type of people that vulnerability is what turns them off. The worst thing you want to do is be vulnerable. Let me cry in front of you. No, that's a turn off. And some people want you to show a little bit, open up a little bit more. Show your emotions a little bit more. It depends on what you're dealing with. If you don't learn this stuff, you won't know which one is which one. You're just off the handle. What to be no but to get emotional on here. And then you wonder why you're having misery in your relationship. It's deep. Isolate. When do you isolate? Right? When I was learning this stuff, I realized I did it in the past, but without doing it, right? Let me give you a case in point. When I took you out for the first time, right? Your sister came with you.
Yes.
That would be the wrong moment to isolate.
That's true. You were
when we got back,
she can come.
When we got back,
she said she can. When she told me she wanted to come, I was like, that's weird, dude. How am I gonna ask this guy if my sister can come? And when I asked you, you're like, oh, that's fine. Just let her come. I was like, oh.
When we got back,
kind of different.
Did I not isolate you?
Oh yeah.
All right, good. All right, but it's a big topic. Okay, but it's stuff you can learn. There's a right moment for that, and there's a way you use it. You learn this terminology. You learn how it works in the dynamics of a woman to a man.
Right.
In a marriage, it's magic. It's a lot of fun learning this stuff and learning how to put. And when you're in a situation where you feel like you're the one that make move all the time, it's a lot of fun. Now it's a chase. Chase is fun, right? But without aggressively chasing or running your mouth, I'm the only one that makes the move. Every time we say that, it works against us.
Of course.
And I've done that before.
Oh yeah.
I feel like now she really doesn't want to do. Right? We do that when we feel like you're the homie, and it's okay for us to communicate. Let's just tell her I'm the only one that's been making the move. Wrong move, anti-seduction. Okay? It doesn't work. It will only make her not want it. Okay? And vice versa.
Okay.
And a man too. You go to a man, you say, we're not affectionate. It's turned off. Like you're nagging.
Yeah.
It's a turn off. So you need to learn other things, other communication channels. That's not necessarily your words. Words in relationships are overrated, I promise you. They're overrated. You have to tone it down. Okay? So it's not that communication doesn't work. Communication 2.0 works. You have to learn. It's about listening. It's about using other forms of communication. All right. So let's go back here. Almost done, babe. Voila. How to keep... So I'm going to ask you this question. This one is a long one. It's just a long one. You probably spend a lot of time. How to keep attraction alive in a marriage and how to manifest, attract, love, and using law of attraction. Let me just fly through that. Okay. So the 3 laws of attraction. Do you know what laws of attraction are? You've heard of it,
I've
but
heard
not
of it,
really.
yeah.
Okay. Well, the first one is like attracts like. You know, people. You know, whatever
You put out there.
whatever you put out there. We also say it in a different way. We say you attract what you fear the most.
Yes.
You know why? Because you put a lot of attention on it. It's the attention. It's not the you don't want it part that works. It's the attention you put on it. That makes so if you don't want to be in a situation where there's no sex all the time, you don't want to put attention on it and be talking about it because you're going to get exactly more of that.
Yes.
You know, so like attracts like. Whatever you want to find out how to create that feeling, right? And then nurture that feeling. What ask yourself, what is it that a person who wants to have sex with you all the time, what is it that they're feeling? How can you instigate just a little bit of it, and then you start focusing on it
instead of the negative?
Instead of negative, if you put eyes on, if you do the negative don't, and you now put focus on I don't, and then it's just going to be negative. Basically, you're going to attract. So anxiety. Remember we talked about anxiety, fear, right? What you fear the most is what you attract because your energy hates it, even though your intentions is opposite.
Because you lead with that anxiety,
yes,
so, and that's what you're gonna attract.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in relationships, intentions are overrated too. That's why good people end up in bad situations all the time.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
Like
all the
sad
time.
situations too.
So that's the first of three laws, not 2 laws. The second of the 3 laws of attraction is nature hates vacuum. The I do mind is the devil's playground. Parkinson's law says the old adage that work expands to fill time allotted. So keep that at the back of your mind that the energy is going somewhere, right? How do you attract that energy back to you? It should be the question you should be asking. That's part of the laws of attraction. Don't just feel like, you know, even though when they say orbit, right, where there's no gravity, there's still particles that fill that space.
Right.
You know, so if a person, if you don't pay attention to a woman all the time, eventually she's going to put that energy somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Or vice versa.
Oh, yes.
Right? So be careful when you say, I put my energy in my children. Okay?
Yeah.
All right? Okay? Also, that energy you're putting in your children can become a toxic thing in the future because
when they leave, I mean, how do you see like women that don't know how to let go of their children? Like the child is now married, but they still find themselves always attached to the child.
In spite of good intentions.
To the point that they are causing problems in their child's house.
In spite of good intentions.
It's that toxic
even if you say, I just want my daughter-in-law to be my daughter, that can come off as a negative energy.
Yeah.
Because again,
it's neediness.
I, and that's neediness, and then that person may not be ready to receive that. You're not even paying attention to how that person receives love, and you know, it just get very nasty. So, just keep in mind, just understand how energy flows. It's neither created nor destroyed. It passes from one thing to the other, and then back. That's why we talk about anxiety passing. Understand all of that. Nothing just happens. It's because the energy just moved from somewhere to somewhere. And if you get angry, it's energy. Put that person on the other person, you're going to hurt them and all that kind of stuff, right? All that stuff affects attraction. You just have to be aware of that. And the third, last but not least, third of 3 laws of attraction, present equals to perfect. We're here right now because it's a perfect place to be. That's it. Okay. Obsession. Okay, well, let's say perfect. Well, if you're not connected to your purpose, everything about now will be equals to resentment for you, right? You will resent the very idea of you in this moment in time.
Right.
And then everything around you that you're in relationship with will also hurt. They will feel it because you know they're next to you.
That's when you feel lost.
Right. So laws of attraction start with gratitude. Oh, I have gratitude there, right?
Yes.
Just appreciating the now. Right? Obsession with the past and the future will only hurt you. Okay?
I agree. Live in the moment.
Live in the moment. Learn how to appreciate the present. You're wherever you are right now. Okay? And I'm not talking about people that are in the hospital trying to get out of COVID. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about you, that you're able to have alafia.
That you don't even have COVID right now. You have to be grateful.
Like, listen, I'm telling you right now. Any way you can tap into gratitude, even if you have COVID, even that's applicable, right? There's a place of gratitude If you do that, that energy will spread to everything else. There's no way you're not going to attract the love you desire or you deserve. It's just not possible. But if you're a person, you go home, you nag about everything, you're always angry, you nag about work.
You don't see the good in anything.
You don't see good in anything. You know, you're always fighting other people. Even though your wife may be feeling good about it right now, that you're both fighting something, it's just negative, right? It's bad. So part of law of attraction is understanding, knowing the value of the present. You know, your thoughts become things, right? So the second one we talked about there, those are real things. You know, your thoughts become real things. So how you think, understanding the structure of your thoughts, knowing that because you say I don't want something doesn't make it you don't want it. Now you're telling me that you want to attract it because you're putting a lot of focus on it. I know it's kind of confusing to a lot of people. That's when they call it bullshit. But it's real. It's real. Because if you start, don't worry about you. People call things bullshit because they're looking at it from their end. Look about the other person that's hearing that.
That's also a way of not seeing good in anything. Like you already made up your mind that no.
Yeah.
That can't work for me.
Yes, exactly. Or you're not listening to the other person, your spouse too. If you're not listening to your partner, it's very easy to call BS on things. But if you're listening, you're always actively looking to find the good in everything. You're always assuming the best case scenario.
Yes.
Right? Everybody else, the losers in this world, always assume the worst case scenario.
They sure do.
Before it happens, before they see it, you know.
And they always feel like everyone is out to get them. So
yeah,
no wonder they stay losing. I mean, positive affirmations are very, very. They are real.
Yes.
And they are very important.
I don't do positive affirmations, but I know enough to know that people need that. Because the brain is such a fickle thing. That's what I mean by vacuum. You have to feel it. If I tell you, if the Bible is what you believe in, then you better read it to complete understanding over and over. You can't just read 3 times a year and say that's it. You have to be a student of it.
Yeah.
I'm not really a Bible scholar or student. I'm not. That's not what I study. I read it out of religion. You know, but I've read it, and I've read it back to back a few times, and I know that everything is in it for anybody who wants to make it their book of life.
I actually just started reading the Bible again. I would say started 2 months ago, and I do it based on plans. Like, do you want patience? What do you want to work on? Is it, the Bible is very, very, it has everything in it.
Everything is in it.
It's so complete.
It's like seduction that I said it has negative, and you can use it on it. Just people interpret it bastardly and use it for the wrong things.
Right.
That's what the Bible is too. But if you want to use it for self-development,
yes,
there's 2 books that I want to read right now, and I want to read it. That's Songs of Solomon, Ecclesiastes. I think those 2 books, and Proverbs 3. I want to read them because I know that there's business principles and stuff like that in it. And even like, I think Ecclesiastes has like relationship stuff, even seduction stuff, right? Yeah, in it. Everything is in it. But of course, people would rather read Revelation. Something that sounds
something
terrible.
That was scary.
Something that has nothing to do with living a quality life right now.
They're living their lights out of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
so,
I'm not about that.
Yeah, so that's it. That's all we have for you today.
Oh my God. Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
I knew this was going to be a long one. I kind of sensed it.
Oh, you did? But you didn't let me know. Talk about seduction. Yeah. You didn't plant the seed.
No, I don't just walk around thinking the seductions. Just FYI.
All right.
Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
All right, guys. Let me go.